Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, we'll do a recap of the recap and we'll make sure that it pops up because I just created a new one. Let me make sure that it's live. It says we're live. It's showing we're live. I see we're live and I see the hello all. Perfect. We are live. All right, so let's head back and redo Fresno recap then. All right, so Charlie, like I was saying, the Fresno recap. What's up, Ben Speedy? How you doing today? Welcome, welcome. We are getting into the Fresno recap. I got in my car at 7 a.m. Well, I was up at like 5 because I always have like battlers, anxiety, and like just super hyped to be doing these tournaments. So like I'm up at 5. I feed Vash. I'm like, all right, Vash, I'm gonna be gone. He was mad. He hid under the couch. I was like, all right. And so I drove off and then got to Phoenix, picked up flying pizza, and then headed to Fresno. The trip altogether was like a 13-hour drive. It was really long, really tiresome, but we did a
That is
little.
a commitment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a driving partner, and it's battling, so I'm in.
I guess it does make things a little easier when you
Yeah,
have someone that you can prep with along the way.
yeah. Remember when I was saying earlier how I wasn't prepared? Yeah, definitely did all the anxiety prep on this car right here. Uh, but yeah, Flying Pizza, part of SoCal Swablues. So when we got to Fresno, I dropped him off over with the Swablues, and I hung out with Dre and Dr. Tito and Boomer, and it was great to see the guys again. And I was so excited because like I don't get to see my LA battlers a lot, and I'm not really in many other tournaments because I only do like 3 tournaments, and most of them are just like either the BTC or BTW main one or the live in person one because I don't really love remote battling. I prefer in person. Everybody should know that about me. As if you're following this channel, we should all know that I am a in person believer. That is the way of life. Remote is has ruined battling. But that's neither
Why do
here
you
nor there. Nope, we aren't. That is another topic for another time. We
Oh,
will not go down
okay.
that door.
We are rushing
Anyways,
right on then.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, no,
moving right
don't. That's
on.
a no. We need to focus. So, that's a whole other door, and we can talk about that later. But, yep. So dropped off, flying pizza, and it was really great to see everybody because I mean, I haven't seen anybody since San Diego. So I don't get to see them in our live persons. I don't get to battle LA battlers in our live persons, and I was going mostly to support Arizona in this meta for this tournament. For San Diego, I went for as an LA representative because it was my hometown. I was going to represent LA as my first tour. But for this one, because I'd played in the Play Pokemon circuit out here in Tucson and LA, and me and Creaser have been working really hard to get the the Arizona scene up here. I I definitely felt it was better to represent Arizona as a crew this time around because that's just where I am. It's what it's gonna happen now. Like I love my LA home. When I move back, I'll definitely join Swablu. Absolutely. Um, but yeah, definitely representing Arizona. So felt good about as you saw the picture of the 6-7 Arizona represents. We had a good representation out of the 66 battler tournament. So you said earlier it was a lot of people. This is 66 battlers, and this is I think the third smallest that we've had in the circuit, where the largest has already been popped off at EUIC at 256. And that was last month. And NAIC is coming out this month, or at the end of this month, in like 13 days. And that is capped off at 256 battlers. So big battles for sure. And San Diego was 128. So this one was a little smaller. And as I said before, if I had prepared a little better, I could have gone a little further, but that's neither here nor there. So Pick up this Italian battler who I've met out here in Arizona, a great kid. He does all his VGC, and he's like a top Italian VGC player. And I met him. We were talking. I thought he was playing for Go, and he was playing for VGC, and it's fine. So I drop him off at his hotel. I go back to the hotel. I crash so hard because, oh my God, Amanda or Charlie, it was such a long drive, and the sun just takes it so out of you. Like the minute my head hit the pillow, I was out. I was so hard asleep. Like I don't even remember falling asleep. Have you ever done that? Where you just wake up? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this bed right here, and then all of a sudden you're waking up being like, why am I here?
You drove the whole way, like straight?
We had some stops. Made a pit stop at the Wall, an old battling ground that I went to, that I did, old LA stomping ground, but that was it. Yeah, straight. Phoenix to LA, LA to Fresno. What's up?
I said a 13-hour drive before a big battle. You must have been exhausted.
I was, and that's probably. I mean, I'd probably say like. It's probably why I just cut loose a little more during the tournament. I was like, whatevs. Like, this is whatevs. So, waking up and it's day one. Do you have any idea how anxious a day one tournament could be, Amanda or Charlie? Damn it, I keep doing it. I promise I'll fix that.
No worries. I've never been to any, tournament before, so I can only imagine how nerve-wracking it is.
They get real nerve-wracking, and the anxiety and the eagerness to be a part of it and be in it. So after registration on the car ride, which I swapped Venusaur with Whimsicott, like me and Flying Pizza were like, oh yeah, let's talk this out. And so I immediately was messing around with all of my team. I should have never have touched my team. I should have just left it as is. But it is what it is. So I woke up on Monday, on Saturday morning at like 6 or 7. Because I had passed out on the bracket reveal. So the bracket reveal was supposed to be at like 11 p.m. But I had zonked out so hard at 10:30. I was like, out. I've never felt old man status before, but I felt old man status there. So when I woke up, I was like, oh, where am I? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, who am I battling? What's this going on? And before I get the bracket, but the bracket wasn't revealed. So like, of course, like I panic. I like go through my phone. And once you go through your phone, you like lock yourself into doom scroll for like at least a good 20 minutes. So I'm like going through and the bracket hasn't been revealed. I'm like, oh, come on. No. So it's like 66 players. The bracket hasn't been revealed. I'm like, this is sus. I don't like this. But I'm going in there with, I have a Medicham, a Venusaur, Shadow, and that is the switch I made. And I chose Venusaur because it hits steals just as hard as we saw the meta shift into Venusaur. It's one of the best anti-grass Pokemon out there. Like, if you're looking at grass Pokemon, before Trevenant, Venusaur was number one, and the Sylph battlers know that. Caleb Pang knew that. That's why he swapped his Trevenant out for his Venusaur in for the Trevenant. Now, like, Venusaur is king. So I brought in Venusaur. I had Altaria, this amazing this beautiful cloud-looking dragon Pokemon, Amanda or Charlie. It was so cute. Got like dragon breath, and it's so thick and tanky. I brought in Lickitung because I've been working all year on getting my XL Lickitung to battle after watching London last year. Oh my gosh. I was like, nope, gotta get the Lickitung. Gotta make a Lickitung, gotta make a Sableye. And not for nothing, like, I might be upset about the meta shift, But the meta shift brought back the 2 XL Pokemon that I had worked so hard on all year. And I was just so grateful I got to play with them. Like, I would have been so sad. This is why I don't like the XL system. Because not everybody, real quickly, the XL system is, what happened was when Pokemon first came out, the max level was 40 you can raise Pokemon to. In 2020, they introduced they introduced level 50, but with everybody maxing out their Pokemon already after 4 years, so having tons of level 40 Pokemon, they couldn't just do this with rare candies because everybody had 2,000 Dragonite candies already on top of their level 40 Dragonite. So what they did was they introduced this new XL candy BS, which basically means after level 40 you have to have 2 XL candies to move it up to the next level. Well, the XL candy costs 100 regular candies of one Pokemon. So if you don't have I think for a Pokemon you need 200, to max out to level 50 you need 296 XL candy to get to level 50. And right, that's 296,000 candies of one Pokemon that you've had to have gotten. That means you've had to have gotten one Pokemon 100,000 times without using a berry.
Without using a berry? Why do you say without using a berry?
Oh, because a Pineapple berry would give you 2, so that's 6,000. So you'd have to do 50,000 catches of that Pokemon. But you know what I'm saying? So they made it so it was really hard to XL Pokemon. So as a battler, the battling system's already in. You've given us maxes. Things like Medicham now are back in the game. Azumarill back in the game. But the problem is we've seen this numerous amounts of times. Meta shift. So we might be dumping hundreds and hundreds of hours into a Pokemon like Lickitung or Sableye. And we may never have to use it ever. Right? And so and then you find out that another XL Pokemon is top dog. And you're I don't have the time or resources to keep building all these XL Pokemon. It's nuts. Some of the things you got to do is, it's you've got to be a hard grinder in order to get it going. And I respect all the battlers that have them and can do it. My schedule just doesn't do it. So I guess I'm just speaking for all of us whose schedule just isn't an easy 8 to 5, go home, can schedule my raid hours or spotlight hours or community days, have the weekend off kind of guy. But
or people like me who I'm homebound during the days and don't have, even if I don't have Pokestops or ability to raid, so I have to wait till the weekend to go. One day a week that's gonna be years before I'm anywhere close to.
And not gonna lie, the three of the top Pokemon in this meta this weekend was XL Sableye, XL Medicham, and XL Lickitung. So it really puts a hard stomp on a lot of new battlers that aren't going to be as passionate, and a lot of them might not want to participate. So I was very grateful that the meta shifted now to the Pokemon that I could use so that I could play, because if they didn't, I might have said no. And that's just that's why I have a problem with the XL. There's so many things we could go on about. But, so I brought the XL Lickitung, I got the XL Sableye, the XL Medicham, the usual 3. I did not bring any spice. And that's kind of my thing. So the reason I'm mad that the meta shifted was because I had prepared with a Shadow Alolan Muck and a Dubwool Medicham team, which was fire, but there was a huge shift, which means Muck was completely useless now. It loses to the Ghost, which was what it was supposed to wall. So it was supposed to go after the Noctowl, the Trevenant, and hit those steals really hard. And that was out of the question now because Trevenant is gone. Everybody's bringing Sableye, and I tried to play with Muck a couple of times, and Sableye just gets to those foul plays so quickly that I can't do any real pressure to it. So, like, the save swap Sableye was like the huge play against me, and so that's why in the car right now I was just like, whoa, gotta make us something. That's why Venusaur was the play instead of Muck. Venusaur, what I say, would be my spice. Because, again, it hits like a truck. As we saw, almost half the top 8 battlers who went to day 2 rocking that Venusaur. It was incredible. So, I get to day 1. There's still no update of who we're battling yet. The doors open at 8:30. Flying Pizza's like, yeah, wake me up at 10 or 8:10 and I'll just roll out of bed and go. I'm like, to be 20-something again and just do that. To be like, yeah.
After a 13-hour drive.
I'll just pick up the bag and go. I was like, all right, cool. You pick up your bag and go. Like, I was like, no. I woke up. I walked around. I cleared my head. And then I was really excited, too, because I wasn't telling anybody this, but my nephew was playing. Henry was playing in the TGC tournaments this weekend.
He's pretty young, right?
Yeah, he was playing in the juniors. He's 10. So he hit the juniors, and he hit the juniors hard. He built a deck. He was prepared a bit. So he's been doing battling down in LA, and then he was like my brother-in-law was like, oh my God, he's doing great. He's got a, I told him about San Diego, and they're like, nah, he's not ready for that. But then they watched him play in what they call a Build-A-Deck tournament, which basically every battler gets a deck of the same, like a same level. Like, so no one can like have bought like, that ridiculously strong card or whatever. So because when they're all on the same playing field, and he whooped them. He went like 4-0 and whooped everybody. So my brother-in-law changed his heart and was like, yeah, we're coming to Fresno. So it was really cool. As you saw the picture of him right there, he holding up his little box. He got top 32 in the tournament, by the way. So he did really great. So I was really excited to see them. So
Pikachu shirt?
What's up?
Him with the Pikachu shirt?
Yeah. So like,
oh yeah.
So he did so good. So I'm texting them. I'm like, all right, we'll do our meetups and all that stuff. Still, it's so close to the doors, so registration. So Pizza and I are walking to the convention center. We get there. I get in line. I find Munch and DV Sheriff. I start hanging with them. I chat with them. These are our 2 other Arizona battlers. These are the guys I drove with in San Diego. And they were just driving down with some TGC players. So they were having their own experience this weekend too. And it was just so much fun. We were chatting about what they brought, all this stuff, getting the anxiety and the hopes up. It was crazy. And then the bracket reveal. And I was so happy, but it's just my luck. It's just my luck. So, I don't know if I told you, my bracket in the San Diego, Charlie, was Caleb Pang. My first opponent was Caleb Pang. And for those of you who do not know who Caleb Pang is, you can now officially say he is a 2-time grand finalist, world qualifier in the 3 tournaments he played in. Like, if it wasn't for Kimmy Sui being 2 for 2, Caleb Pang would be the top dog right now. So that was my first opponent of San Diego. So my first opponent of Fresno is none other than my wonderful, amazing battler friend, Peoria world qualifier, Miss Goddess NHoff. And Charlie, when I say the luck is not in my favor, the luck is not in my favor at that point. There's like skills, like I understand skills, but there's the macro and the micro that NHoff just basically lives in. And she could pick any Pokemon and just basically whoop me with it because she just knows just the ins and outs of everything. Like, she has simmed it. She knows the stats. She, like, wakes up and breathes it. She comes back. That's why I bring her onto the analyst as Indigo PvP. Like, I've been working with her for so long now in this battling scene. It was so great to have her there. There we are, right here on the left, right before our matchups. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a real battle here. Oh. So actually, like always, I will always walk into a battle thinking I'm gonna win. That's game one, Charlie. Like, always, it's a win. Like, you gotta go in thinking you're gonna win.
Yeah, have the confidence. Absolutely.
Confidence. I said the same thing to everybody about Caleb in San Diego. I told them all, I was like, I'm gonna beat him. Yeah, I'll take him out. I can take out Caleb. And then literally right after I lost to Caleb, King walked up and be like, hey, so did you beat him? I was like, no, definitely didn't. But it's not because I am a battler. I tell people that I'm a battler. I'm a good battler. I'm not a great battler. I'm not a pro. I'm not an epic, but I'm a battler. I have my tournaments. I don't have my tournaments. There are people who have their tournaments. There are people who don't have their tournaments. But then there are those who, like, know the nitty gritty. And we're starting to see those people who know the nitty gritty, like rise to the occasion, like Kayla Peng, like Kimmy Sui. So that is what it really, what it is at some points. So that's why, like, I say I'm a battler, because it could be my tournament. I didn't think Phoenix was going to be my tournament, and it didn't be my tournament. So I felt pretty good about going in against NHoff. And I felt even better because for the last, like, 2 weeks now, all she had been preaching was Shadow Quagsire. Because Quagsire got a new update in the move, Charlie. So, do you know anything about why I would be really excited to play against NHoff if she was bringing Shadow Quagsire?
Something last second.
Yeah, the Venusaur.
Yes. So is it because you chose the Shadow Venusaur?
Yeah, that grass typing. Again, if we're going to see some Mud Boys pop up, no one's going to want to see that Venusaur. That's why a lot of people felt that way, that it's got that great grass typing. And it... Oh. Yes, it's the best grass typing that does what grass does, but it's also the best grass typing because it also beats grass. Mm-hmm. So it does everything that the grass Pokemon want you to do. It takes out the Mud Boys. It hits hard on the steels. It hits your grounds. It does what your grass wants you to do. But it also takes out the grass because it has that access to Sludge Bomb. And with that extra attack buff from Shadow, you get to play it out.
I see. So the strategy there would be to use those PP potions and just spam it until you get Sludge Bomb?
No. What you would do is just tap away until you got Sludge Bomb. Build up your energy until you got to Sludge Bomb. And then, yes, you'd get Frenzy Plant and you would TM till you got Sludge Bomb on your Venusaur. So you'd have 2 moves on it. Yes.
TM, sorry. Yes, okay. Yes. I see, okay.
Yep. I forgot how basic that question was, but yes.
I apologize.
I was like, what PP item are you talking? Like potions? There are no potions. I was like, oh, TMs. Yes. TMs.
Yes, I am just recently realized that you could change your
charge moves.
I end up with something a lot worse, and so it's good to know of, like, okay, in certain situations, this it's appropriate to use these TMs when I'm specifically looking for, like, these types of pairings, the Sludge Bomb with the Shadow Venusaur.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you gotta pay attention to, and we'll talk about more into that later, onto the basics, and that is with elite TMs and specialty day moves. That's why community days are so important. Just like this one Haxorus that was happening this weekend. It was so great to have Haxorus Community Day with Breaking Swipe. It has come into the meta and has just been wonderful. Either rocking that Dragon Tail or rocking that counter. It's been doing really great in both Great Leagues and Ultra League. King and Home Slice Henry have both had plus plus days where they've gone up 300 plus ELO. So that Community Day Pokemon that we just received for this week during this weekend, absolutely worth it. But yeah, TMing moves is great. And so she did not bring the Quagsire though, Charlie. I was so sad.
Oh no!
No!
Sorry, I got us down this little tangent. I forgot.
Yeah, stop.
I forgot what we were. Wow. Okay. So. What?
So she didn't bring it, and I was really bummed. But
yeah, what you bring instead?
She brought a Tapu Fini, which is her Pokemon. So she brought her style Pokemon. She just played with her Pokemon because she felt safest with it. And so we'll get to the battle real quickly, and I have an interview pre-battle because I saw her pre-game before the battle and before their judges got us into it. As you see there, Scrap and Pete here right at day one, the head judge giving us all the breakdown on the rules of what's going on. I really appreciate the TOs and the judges for what they did and how they held it down this weekend. It was a great weekend, and it ran so smoothly. But let's get the NHoff interview going, because this is actually a great interview that I got to do with her, because I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, because I wanted to talk to more people and get their input on the season and everything, because Miss NHoff has gone through a couple of tournaments. One, she's a battler who had already secured her tournament or her qualifications real early into the season. Two, she went to numerous amounts of them after, so I wanted to get her perspective of what it's been like as a battler going to just all of these events, and then also find out how she felt about the way we've been going and stuff like that in the seasons. Yeah, I had her give us this wonderful interview and break that down. Would you like to hear it?
To hear it.
Too bad, you're going to hear it. Oh, wait, you said yeah? Okay, great. Well, you're going to hear it. Here we go. Here with Miss Goddess NHoff. Miss NHoff, this has been the first season, full, real big season of the Play Pokemon Go circuit that we as battlers can prepare and be ready for. You've done numerous amounts of them. How do you feel the first season of Play Pokemon here has been going?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously a little bit biased having qualified, but I think it's been great. I've really seen the improvements over to this season, especially compared to last season, both the game quality. There's always going to be issues with the game, but remembering fast move denial and how pivotal that was in matchups last season at NAIC, at Indianapolis, all of the different regionals across both North America and Europe, and seeing just this season the game being a little bit better, still ways to go, and then just the tournaments, they've run so much better. The staff has been doing great work both here at the tournaments and on production as well. Obviously, Daniel getting into his position has been great for the circuit, and the casters have just improved a ton as well, which has been great to watch as both a player and spectator this season.
Absolutely. With the inclusion of Daniel after the first season, you really saw the production kicked up. And yeah, after a couple of reps, the casters are now feeling their groove. They're playing in the tournaments with us. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, and on the judge side, again, like Mel as well joining TPCI, and knowing that her experience as a judge both in the Play Pokemon circuit and also with Sylph, obviously, has been huge, and can't give her enough props for a lot of the improvements we've seen on the player side from the judge staff.
Excellent. You've been to many of these. You've seen so many top eights. This group of top 8 battlers, what can you tell us you've seen from them through day one, and who are you excited for today?
Yeah, so my opponent who knocked me to the lower bracket was running a really cool team, Dunsparce and Lickitung. I'm rooting for him. He's the one up there right now on stage. I know we're recording, but with the Teddy Ursa plush, not Munchlax, the other one.
Nighttime. Is he nighttime?
No, it's I want to say Jeffy.
Oh, Gerald.
Gerald.
Ex-Gerald, yes.
The Jays. Gerald knocked me down to the lower bracket, and really loved his team. Really close matches on stream yesterday, and I believe this is his first top cut. I think the only 2 players here who have top cut before are Caleb, obviously, and Elite. Obviously, Caleb's pretty great, but he's already got the Worlds invite, so I'm going to be rooting for Elite. I know he's been chasing it for a while. Would be nice, maybe Caleb wins, passes the invite down to Elite or something to that effect, but I know Elite's been, a top player for a while, and I think it would be great to see him clinch it here.
Excellent. Shoot, you said something, and I was like, this is what. As a member of the battling community, as a top member and a strong voice, with everything that's been going on in the back scenes, the ending of Sylph, the beginning of Zygarde, with the Play Pokemon season ending here with Fresno, where do you see Play Pokemon or Pokemon Go battling headed?
Yeah, I think that Play Pokemon has done a lot for the community because it's brought back in-person tournaments in a way that I don't know that Sylph Megas could have. Because there's this incentive, because there's this, real tangible, quote-unquote official, because it is through TPCI, so it is official, thing to chase as opposed to Sylph, which, is amazing. Like, I don't mean to badmouth Sylph here. But the, financial incentive, the glory incentive, all of that, I don't know that we would have gotten as many regionals, talking about once a month, some once every 2 weeks, getting, 50 plus players consistently. It's been incredible to see. And I think that, Sylph closing is obviously really, really rough. And we'll see how long it takes Zygarde or whatever the replacement winds up being for Sylph to pick up. But I think in the interim, we have Worlds. If it's similar to this season, picking up directly after Worlds, this will be the lifeblood in that interim. And then I know that people are very ambitious to get back to team formats, whatever is next for, factions from Sylph becoming, in Zygarde or whatever follows. I think that that's going to be great for those remote communities, for those people that can't make it out to a regional or don't want to make it out for a regional for whatever reasons. But I think it's going to be a very healthy dynamic prior to Play Pokemon, with Sylph being the only thing other than Go Battle League, which doesn't really bring that community element. I think that we were almost too reliant on Sylph. And again, nothing against Sylph. They did a great job in making that a good community. But I think having this in-person element now that we're, at a position where that makes sense in terms of like global events, and then still having the remote, I think we're entering a very good time frame for Pokemon Go PvP, so long as the game still works and we still have a game to play.
Awesome. Thank you so much, NHoff. Wonderful. Hello. Can y'all hear me? Great commentary there by Miss NHoff. She definitely is a hello. What I want to say is she definitely has a wonderful look on like the aspect of things. She's in a position right now where she gets to see everything going on in the background. She's been really into the Play Pokemon scene, so she really sees the behind the scenes as a representative of Go Stadium out for Fresno, but also with Go Stadium and with what's going on with Zygarde and Sylph and stuff like that. She has the information there, and you can hear it in her voice, like she has the confidence that things are going well in Zygarde or for the future for us. Yes, it does sad for Sylph, but the Play Pokemon events here are all plus 50. I think only one was under 50, and that was it. And that's around the world. So it's really good for us now that we're getting back out of the COVID days, these dark remote days. Those locals are starting to pick up, so it is really great positive time for us, and she definitely nails all of it too. Are you kidding me? I can North Star. I was right there with Sylph all through that whole time. Creaser and I have been getting the Arizona seat up to get, there's nothing wrong with Sylph in the in-person, but just for some reason, they couldn't boost it up. They couldn't get people to come, and they felt like they needed to have the big number. I can't get into that. We'll get into that later. But yes, Sylph definitely was a great in-person tournament, Charlie, that helped started it. But this play Pokemon scene, having these numbers at these big regionals, and I don't know if anybody's really following the leaderboard right now out there, but I am. So I'm going to let you know, like, there are cities booming with battlers trying to get that stipend for that $750 going to NAIC for next weekend. Like, this is like like the back door for them. Like a great way to make like, oh my gosh, I'm Charlie. Like when I say I'm watching the leaderboards, I'm like, when we walked in last weekend, there were 5 battlers in Arizona that were the top 8 that were going to get the stipend. Now, walking into it on Saturday, there were 2 left. Because all of these other locals are finally realizing that the in-persons are back. And so the battlers that like missed like their old in-persons, like I'm seeing a name out there, feeling this one. We haven't seen them really in the live person scene yet, probably because of, having a life or whatever. But they're in the top 8 for sure, secured at least 70 points. That battler is a top-tier Sylph battler, old-school Sylph battler that was so good. So I'm excited to see what next season is. There were so many Sylph Season 1 vibes this year that I felt like they just pulled the trigger too early on cutting the ties with Sylph. Like, give us one more year. Like, you had to give battlers and trainers one more year to feel comfortable to be outside. D-Longs, yeah, another one. Jumped. He was underneath me at 36 going in on Friday because I was debating on whether or not I wanted to make a push for NAIC and get a $750 stipend. But then I was like, yeah, not going to happen.
Oh, the North Star, I totally understand the benefit for in-person, but as someone with disabilities, in-person's not always accessible for me, or smaller tournaments aren't always accessible. So let people, like for Oregon, huge gamer population into that Portland market without having to.
Yeah, not talking poorly about remotes, just talking about how hype it is to be in the in-person in these
I was just agreeing with the North Star.
Yeah, I look, there was remote before. I was doing remote with Viridian, with Ghost Stadium. That's how I got to battle people from around the world. It's not remote that I hate. It's this all-access GBL, 25 sets, like you have to do them longevity. I love the fact you can battle with people from around the world with the 0 star and stuff like that. But the remote really took it got real ugly. So it's just, I feel in person it's better in person because the people are there. I like it better that way, but that's just my bias. So that's why I go to these bigger in-persons and those locals. So like as we were saying, like what NHoff was saying, like the scene's going to be bumping. I feel the scene's going to be bumping next year because like people finally saw like the diehard battlers like Sheriff and Munch and Omega and NHoff and Soph Toph and Haydonous go out to these things that they're gonna want to go out. They're gonna try to do these remotes more, but they're gonna go out to the more and bigger in-person ones.
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, certainly not saying anything against in-person.
No, of course not.
I hope the option remains. But I do see what you're saying.
They're not gonna pull it. What's up?
Yeah, about needing the one more year to really get ramping back up.
Yeah, they just need that, and I feel like they pulled the trigger too soon because it's literally, if you really think about it, it's year 5, and they're a volunteer group, so it was a good call. But battling NHoff and after the interview, or we did the interview day 2. Now that I actually waited to the interviews on day 2 because I didn't want to bother anybody. Everybody's got their own head state. Don't know where people are at. So how I lost, Charlie. How I lost so hard. So for us battlers out there, I got Altaria and what was the lead? She was rocking something. I think she was rocking Swampert. No, she was rocking G-Fisk. So she got G-Fisk onto I think it was like my Registeel. And so I built up energy on Registeel, and I gave up the shield for the first Earthquake at 8 taps. And I counted to 7 taps. And what I was trying, because she threw at 8. So what I was trying to do was on the 7th tap, and what this is called catching, I tried to catch the Earthquake on the Altaria on the 7th tap. And she read it like a playbook, Charlie. Like, she just had the biggest smile, like, nah, not falling for that, bruh. And I was just like, no! Because that was my only win con. Because my back line, I needed to keep a shield for my back line because it was Altaria and whatchamacallit. And I knew with that G-Fisk out, she had Tapu Fini in the back. So I was trying to make the catch and draw the Tapu at the same times. But I missed it all. And then so why this is bad, Charlie? Do you want to know why this is bad? Do you know the matchup of Altaria and G-Fisk? Galarian stuff?
Yeah, why?
So,
yeah, please.
By 8 taps. So she got to 7 taps to throw the Earthquake. But she didn't throw the Earthquake at 7 taps. She continued to tap, so she got 8 taps. By 8 taps, she gets to her other charge move, which is Rock Slide. But she doesn't get to it once. She gets to it twice. And do you know what's super effective against Altaria?
But is it Rock Slide?
It is Rock Slide. This was not a trick question. Yes.
Oh my God.
So instead of
I'm thinking too hard about the question.
Yeah. Don't. So instead of continuing this really tight conversation, like this really tight matchup where maybe I could have made a catch or something on the no shield or something like that, I have now literally just given her an entire Pokemon to just to annihilate. And oh my God, it was so like absolutely. She brought out Tapu and was like, I don't care, I have Tapu now. I was like, yeah, no, I understand you have Tapu. That was the whole point of bringing it out all the time. Thanks. Like, oh no, I'm a goner. Cool, no worries, we're good. Thanks. Oh, it was so bad.
I'm curious. So I've never battled anyone in person. When you're in that type of situation, is it tempting to look like? Are you looking at the player across from you? Are you watching her grin?
So she wore a mask because she was being respecting to everybody for what her reasons, whatever.
Of course.
But I knew her personally, and we both know that our skill levels aren't on the same page. So it was very much more of I'm just going at it to have fun. At like after I lost battle 1, I was like I literally was sitting there and I was like, if it wasn't you, I wouldn't be having these issues right now. Because like I'm thinking about, I'm like, oh, she's gonna bring the Tapu on me. She's gonna bring the Tapu because people love to bring their spice. Because when they see my spice, like battlers who love to bring their Pokemon will bring their Pokemon, because their Pokemon that they love to bring they're meant to handle spice. Like that is why Tapu is there. She is so smart in all of her ways. Like that is her Pokemon. It is meant to handle those. I was just like, oh my God, because she knew how to handle it, because she knew what I was trying to do, because she had Tapu. So I brought Registeel lead and Venu as my closer to get the Tapu at some point. So, but it didn't work out because that's why I'm saying like I wasn't prepared, because I would have probably would have had a better opportunity if I would have brought in Sableye lead. Because I just didn't feel comfortable bringing in Sableye lead, or if I would have actually put Lantern on my team. I would have had a better feel of my matchups, but it was neither here nor there. It was my team I chose. Love my team. Not mad at my team. Wish I had a bit more practice, but that's on me. And this is why I say that, because I'm pretty sure other battlers tried to do this move on her to draw out Tapu Fini. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, someone's obviously tried to draw out called the Tapu in the back and tried to make the catch for the Earthquake. Like, it just makes sense. So that's why it was just so amazing. It was so great to battle her. Like, we were having laughs. Like, you were asking, like, is it okay to look up? Like, when I was making this, when I lost that catch, we literally both knew the win con for me was, like, out of this world. So even though she was wearing a mask, she was grinning while laughing. There's a little, like, paper sheet that goes in between battlers so you can't see what move they're actually, like, hitting all the bubbles for, which is a kind of a tell for some of us. But I was so friends with her, I was just more chatty with her, and that I think kind of took me out of it as well, because I wasn't really like, I can take her. I was more like, let's have some fun. But that's just on me again to be headset. What's up?
It's so great to honestly hear you say that, because as someone who is new, I would never, ever think about going to one of these in-person championship competitions, because I just automatically think, like, oh, these people are all so serious. I'm not skilled enough. So hearing you say, like, because I'm used to watching, battlers on YouTube who are incredible, and I'm not so used to seeing.
Hey, it is not. Let me tell you something. I know they show top tier battlers, but sometimes they've had real unfortunate luck when they show the non-top tier battlers and their matchup is up against a top tier battler. I will never forget, and I think everybody learned from this lesson, this poor girl who battled up against its Axon, who had, like, Deoxys defense or something, and I think she advanced because her other opponent didn't show up. So they're like, oh, she won, she's got speed Deoxys, that's really cool. And they put her on, and, like, her Pokemon aren't even charged up to, like, 1500. She just gets eaten alive in, like, 5 seconds, and it's just really sad and upsetting to, like, see that. So and not because she isn't a good battler or anything. It's because she just went to this tournament, to a live in-person tournament, and had the unfortunate matchup of battling with a good battler. Does that make sense? So you're always going to match up with a good battler, but, like, in these play Pokemon, and they're talking about this in the future of making it Swiss and not double elimination, when you lose your matchup in the play Pokemon, you get knocked down. In the new future, like Sylph, so what we're talking about with that last organization, why it was so good, the Sylph organization, if I lost the first round, which I've done numerous amounts of times in Sylph tournaments, I could have still won out in a better situation, even if I wasn't in a double elim. So even if I lost again, even though I went 0-2, I could have still gone 3-2. And for me, as a battler, not a good battler or a great battler, I'm a battler who brings spice. I love going into metas, like playing with all these copy pasters and just eating them alive. I love it when I can go up against a battler like NHoff, like all these other top tier battlers, and have that challenge. And if I take one from one of them, which I can, which I've done, I pat myself on the back and I move on, because I know where I really stand and how, like, where they stand. So you could do, that's why I say, like, I'm a feeler battler, but there's definitely more. You got to do more than just one type of way of battling. Like, you've got to know the sims and you've got to know the feels. Like, NHoff has simmed her team. She won with Tapu Fini in Peoria. So, like, I was completely aware that every Pokemon she had, she's probably played with in a battle, in a line, against 257 different Pokemon at least 100 times. But that's just who NHoff is, and that's who a battler is. But you should never be afraid to go against that, because at any moment, they don't win that tournament. Charlie, the guys that made it to day 2, I whooped in Arizona. The Arizona guys, yeah, that is how it played out. I know there was a long walk to this drink of water to answer your question so that you don't be afraid. Because I was like, man, this still sounds like don't come to battle because only top tier will play. But no, you can battle against. I definitely have taken one from Caleb. I've definitely, some of the LA guys that made it, I've beaten before in other tournaments because it was just my tournament. That's just how it plays out. So as a battler, I would always say for battlers, get in there and battle and never be afraid to do these tournaments, because 1, you'll get the experience. 2, every single one of those good battlers are the friendliest people too, and they're all just chatty. Like, they'll help trade. They'll just sit there and trade. Like, we'll talk about it on after day 2, how we just all after the tournament we're trading and battling again. Like, that's what the community is. So like, there should be no fear to walk into a tournament like that. Yeah, the name's gonna be there. You're gonna see their name, but if you've done your homework, like if you've practiced for at least a week with your your line and you feel good, and you could take this tournament. You could take the tournament anytime. So yeah, I definitely thought I could take NHoff, and after she made that catch on me, I felt bad. Hold up, I saw a comment here as I was going through by Ben Speedy that I definitely relate to because of remote and local. And it was who is it? Oh no, North Star. I pay remote battling. I could sit or pace around the house. My wife knows when I'm battling because I'm pacing the kitchen and living room. That's hilarious because I pace around the living room as well when I battle. But I do that. And here's the thing too about these in-person, because in remotes, like I pace at home or I'll pace in our own locals, because you don't have to sit down in front of that person. You can, do your thing and walk away. These force you to like sit down in front of your opponent. Oh, also, Charlie, can I say, right as we were about to battle, the good man Scrappin' Pete walks up to me and NHoff, and I believe it was Gerald, and I don't remember. Gerald played somebody else that I knew. Now, I was not in an easy bracket either. I was in a really death bracket again, but that's just my luck. And that just only means that Play Pokemon sees me as a top tier battler. Those top tier battlers have to be number 1 somewhere. But what I was saying was, Gerald. So in the next matchup, the battler she played against literally had the same team, only had, instead of Venusaur, Dunsparce, and beat her. And if you heard in her interview, like, the Dunsparce Lickitung combo was the way to go. So if I would have known that, if I would have known that, I would have been in a better situation. But it's nothing on everybody. You could do, but you could have done that. If you got a good team like Portland, I was surprised to not see anybody in Oregon for this tournament.
There was no one.
Nobody from Oregon. Well, there is.
Interesting.
Hold up. I believe a couple of judges were from Oregon, but I don't believe I saw any battlers from Oregon. I could be wrong. If you knew anybody from Oregon in the chat, let me know. I know Haydonous was. Yeah, I think a lot of people were like NorCal, who I didn't know, or out of state. Like a few people still flew from out of state, which was nice, because the more out of state people, the better.
Is Fresno the last opportunity?
Fresno is the last opportunity. So I have to win my next matchup. So I'm just sitting patiently waiting for my next matchup. And it is Haydonous Rex, who is a 2-time top 8 qualifier this year, and is an amazing battler on one of the top factions teams of the NA. Like, he's just incredible. It was such a great battler to chat with. I've never met him. This was my first time meeting him. I saw him during Portland, and he did really well in Portland. I was like, man, this kid's really good. because he was making catches and he's a counter, so he was on his point with energy and stuff like that. And I was like, let's do this. I was like, awesome. So the fact that I knew that my battlers were there, like, it made me step up my game too. But him and I both walked in there going, my man, I'm as good as you are with this meta, because the meta was not what I thought it was. I thought the meta was going to come out swinging with Altarias. I thought we were going to see a lot of fairy type coming out. I've been practicing against Clefables, Water Gun Lanterns. I mean, Charlie, I cannot believe the meta that I had this meta. It was nothing that Noctowls were everywhere. I think only 2 people in the top 8 had Lantern. I didn't even see a Lantern. I think Haydonous had one, but that's just because he needed a Lantern. But like, all I did was practice against Lantern, because my one of my coaches, who I really appreciate him for doing it, 23 EJB, was helping me practice, and he literally just kept putting Water Gun Lantern on his team and just beating me with it. I was like, ow, ow. I could have been just fine with my team. This is why I say, like, I wasn't prepared. Like, you got to get comfortable with the team, lock it in, and just roll with it. This is why I was upset with this big meta shift. I don't mind a small meta shift, but this big meta shift where you hit one of the main RPS triangles in Trevenant and knock it down, like, I am not real happy about this at all. I am just in shambles now trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm still trying to. I'm still a few comments, but you said there weren't many lanterns there.
Oh,
people weren't playing many.
No, so Lantern is really dominant. Like, one of the top 4 that you should absolutely have. Only 2 people had it that were top 8. It was but here's the thing, and again, I'm drawing swords with everybody. Southern California, or I'll say the West Coast. We'll say the West Coast, LA mostly, but Southern California, we're seeing more and more now popping up with some of the best battlers. No one has ever come into a SoCal tournament and taken it from hometown victory. I could have said that about Milwaukee with Rise 2, but Bulk won Milwaukee last week or 2 weeks ago. So again, LA still holding strong as never lost. San Diego was won by Ramberto, one of our own homebred. And Caleb Pang, who lives in LA now, it got second. And then just here, Elite is definitely Southern. I think he's San Diego. He's either San Diego or he's NorCal. But he's not, I know he's not Los Angeles. But right there, California right there, you've heard NHoff. He's made a top 8 before. He's made the pushes. He's back at it again. Like, these battlers that you're hearing of the repetitiveness, these are top battlers in this area that you don't get to see battle in all the other spots because, it's so expensive to travel. So getting them to come here and all that, last season, there was nothing that hit the West Coast. And a lot of us were really upset by that. And it was really disheartening. As a matter of fact, I was really happy when they gave us the formula and gave us the schedule right at Worlds for this next season. So you can schedule and plan that. And I was like, as a family, like, how do you do it? Because we have the Pokemon family, as you see Miss Fitzy on the left there next to my boy DV Sheriff. How do you, as a family or as a person, if you're not going to get your West Coast side, you've got to go and then plan and schedule to fly out to the East Coast? You know how much that costs now? We have to go through? Ugh. Like, yuck. Right? Yeah. And don't tell me, oh, boo-hoo. Like, East Coast, come on out. I'll keep telling LA battlers are better. No East Coast can come out. And I'll say it because they all came out for the LA Mega in 2019 in the LA Mega had SoCal Swablu finalist Lemon Lime and oh my gosh, what was his name? What was his name? I forget his name, but one of the old founders of SoCal Swablu, both of those leaders in the grand finals in a 9-0 round tournament, Swiss round tournament. Like, absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So no one can come into SoCal and do it. So when they gave us the schedule and stuff like that, I was really excited. And it's been really interesting to do them. And I've got another interview, as you can hear me prepping up and amping up, because I actually wanted to talk to the Fitz family, because you had Kay Fitz there, and so Mama Fitzy and Kira Fitzy, who's playing in VGC, I believe, and secured her space in her place in the VGC juniors. Mama Fitzy was battling and she got on stream. So I wanted to know about them, because this was the last tournament, how they really planned. Because Charlie, when I say this family, I literally mean they went to every tournament. Either there was some representation of the Fitz family in these tournaments. 2, 3, or one of them showing up, or the whole family showing up. Like, they live in Ohio, so it was a lot easier for them because they're West Coast, and it's, driving and stuff like that. Some of those, like, further East Coast ones are a little difficult, but, like, Salt Lake City was kind of not that bad for them, stuff like that. So, they could, plan about it, and then they all knew they were going to Japan. So it was so cool to get their opinions on it.
Quick question. I was reading the North Stars comment, and about new players having a hard time finding mentors, and I'm thinking about these. You were saying you've been looking forward to talking to them. Just kind of come with the package. Do you find that just approaching these players who you've been watching for a while, are they usually receptive? Do they
okay?
What advice would you give?
So no, I would not, as a new player.
Okay.
And I would not on Discord. I wouldn't on Discord. And if you see these battlers in person, absolutely be respectful to them. Realize they're trying to battle too, right? You're really hyped up to see them. They're trying to stay in the mindset of the tournament. We're here for a battle. So like maybe if you want to fangirl out, kind of just give yourself a couple. Wait till their tournament run is done, and be respectful of them as a battler, right? Because I'm taking this as a battler perspective. Like, absolutely, you can walk up to them, say, "Hey, man, love your work," and walk away before the battles or before their tournament run. But don't like gawk out at them or like start really walking and talking to them or bothering them or just keep wanting to chat PvP. Because they're in their mindset for the tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Play.
They're here to play. Yeah. No, and it's nothing against you. Because once they're out of it, they'll want to socialize. They will want to talk. They'll talk about stuff, and they'll be happy to say things and trade with you and stuff like that. But be respectful of the tournament. I would always say in person. The reason I reached out to 23 EJB, I don't ever really practice with him or anything. Like, I reached out to him because he did Worlds last year, and I interviewed him for the season 1 back with Team Rocket Academy. So like we'd built friendship up, and like I've been rooting for him. Like I always hit him up like, "Hey man, rooting for you for Europe. Hope you take it," because I do think he can take Europe. He's one of my people on my list that will end up taking Worlds. I don't think anybody in NA can qualify against EU, and we still don't know what Japan's gonna kick to us. So I was really excited to battle. That's why I was so happy. He showed me that really big Like, I'm not mad at 23 EJB for showing me that big exposure. But I would never, if I hadn't interviewed him, I wouldn't have directly messaged him, even if we're in the same Discord or chat group. I would never, ever, again, respecting the battler's boundary, as who I am, I've been Team Rocket since season 1 of Sylph. I've definitely made my name out there. I've made sure people know who I am. And even if they don't know who I am, when I approach them, I come to them as, hi there, my name's so-and-so from this. This is my link. These are what we do. Like, are we happy to get your story? And then I don't even bother them anymore. Like, so as a new battler, when you're looking for a mentor, like, there are definitely there's meta.fi, which is a way that you can find coaches that are there willing to help you for battling, that are wanting to help you for battling. If you have battling friends, that is a great place, because for me, like, yeah, it's cool to learn battling, but like you can get a coach from somebody. But to be honest, to be at my skill level where I am right now, you could literally just go on to PV Poke, understand PV Poke, and just battle with a team of 6 for maybe a month. And you could understand how to make catches, how to, throw charge moves, how people are playing these Pokemon. And because you're looking at PV Poke, you'll know what good Pokemon are out there. So that's what I would say, like, as a person, as a battler, a new battler trying to go out there, there are definitely resources that you can use instead of just walking up to, like, Speediest Chief and be like, hey, can you teach me how to play Fortress? Because
no, of course.
He's not gonna be able to do that. Or like, yeah, because even right now, like, going up to these guys, I've met King 100 times. King knows who I am. I have a wonderful conversation with King every time we see each other. We've met at LA in the December 2019. Like, he's been on the channel. We have a fine professional rapport. But I'm not hitting King up being like, hey, dude, want to battle me and give me a coaching lesson? No, I respect what King's doing. He's got a coaching class. He's got all of that. And the same thing for 23EJB. He's got a coaching class and a coaching profession. Like, they have their Discord groups. You got to go and find them through their YouTube channels. And that way, that's the best way to get that kind of coaching and mentoring. But the best way to go about it, Charlie, the best way.
So I was reading the North. I thought you were asking me a question, but I was reading the North Star's most recent comment. I see, but you're commenting on.
Okay, so North Stars. Okay, I see. Not everyone can afford coaching. No, North Stars. So then my suggestion to you, because I don't pay for coaching. And that's why I know the difference between. But I know the difference between NHoff in my self skills is because I've been following battling since season 1, and I watched these early battling tools, and I've played in Sylph season 1 where the metas were honing the skills there. Not saying that there's no way to do that now. What you should be doing then, if you cannot be doing this, like getting a coaching and stuff, what you should be doing on your Discord is finding your in-person communities, finding your battling buddy, and battling with them. Going through PV Poke and battling with them. Then taking your skills and your team of 6 and going into Flash for Everyone. And I will make a giant plug for Flash for Everyone. Because in 1 week from now, next week, we are going to be having Lyles, Jeff, and myself will be doing a journey through Flash for Innocence Cup, the last Sylph meta. But Flash for Everyone, they have an amazing tool. And what that tool is that you can propose a tournament for OGL practice. This won't be ranking. This won't be count against you in any way. All this will do is to give you, that team of 6 that you and your buddy have been practicing against, a chance at battlers like CO is a beast, who you've seen on stream. Myself, I'm always on there. You've got Diorosaur. I know EV2E is there. Once Sylph goes down, this place will be a huge pop-up because you can instantly just get tournaments running. So Flash for Everyone is the great tool for you to do that. And that is the best way. And through that, you start building those connections, those friendships with those people, and then you can maybe discuss with that battler off on the side once you have a good rapport with them. Like, not after your first matchup, but once you have a good rapport with them, like, hey, I've been thinking about this one Pokemon. Should I or should I not? Don't be harassing them and like being battling. Like, if you guys battle all the time and you've talked on the DMs and the matchups and you're like, oh, hey, and you guys are joking about it and you guys are kicking off against another, Niantic thing, or you're having a good laugh and it feels like a good conversation. Absolutely. But if it's just, hey, sent, FR, GG, then there's no need to continue that conversation DMing wise with that person because it was just a professional thing. That would be my Discord route for you on how you would want to do it. Metafy, yes, you don't want to go through Metafy. You want to go through Flash. That'll be for you. Or your in-person groups, because those in-persons are where I learned, because I get to battle battlers like DreFlames, like Munchlax, like DV Sheriff, like Caleb Pang, like Ace Leader Sky and Ramberto, and I personally saw the difference. And as a battler, if you're that much of a battler, then battling these top tier battlers, you should be learning a thing or two of like, oh, I should be making sure I'm paying attention to the energy better. I should be making sure I'm paying attention to my counting better. Or I should be paying attention to the third Pokemon better. But yeah. I pushed through and stuck it out. That's great. And the regional tournaments almost give off that vibe. You need experience to get experience. Okay, I'm again going to tell you, no. They only give off that vibe when it comes down to day 2. But that's neither here nor there, because I'll tell you again, like, the experience was I beat DV Sheriff and I beat Munchlax before, and both of those battlers have gone to day 2. I've beat Boomer in a Sylph meta, but like, you don't need experience. I didn't know who those battlers were. I'm talking like I've beat them when we were just like didn't know each other when I was back in LA. Yep. I'm just saying. Yes, you need experience because you've got to know how to battle. You can't just pick up the game and tap to victory. You got to know how it works. You got to know which Pokemon's the way to go. So, we got a little sidetrack there, but let's get into this wonderful interview here with the Fitzy family.
Yes. Great sorry interview about that. I didn't mean to sidetrack us, but thank you really for that information.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm here with the Fitz family and Bird Power 13. And it's so exciting because we have them here. They've been traveling to numerous amounts of events all year. It's like been a whole family event for everybody. I'm with Mama Fitzy here. How, as a mama, has it been for you in this first season 1 of this Play Pokemon circuit?
Honestly, it's been super duper crazy. Like everyone asked, when did we get into Pokemon? It's been less than a year. So just our travel schedule has been insane. I don't know that we'll have the same type of travel schedule next year, but we've been having a lot of quality family time, and it's super awesome to see all of our friends that we're making along the way.
Awesome. Bird Power, you've kind of been a name since last year you went to Worlds. How has this season been different than last season in your run for this season?
It's been a lot different. I actually know people this season. Like in Milwaukee, I kind of just came in as the underdog. Nobody knew me. I didn't talk to anybody. I was shy. And now this year, I know everyone. I made some great friends, including the Fitzy fam. They're like my second family to me, and it's just amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Same to you, Kira. You're a battler. What's it like being here with the fam and joining the whole Pokemon circuit and enjoying the season?
It's really fun to spend time with my family and some of my new friends and old ones too.
How have you adjusted to all of the scenes for this year for the traveling? And because Papa got Worlds right away. So y'all had he told me about your story last time where you guys had Worlds and in a month had to go to London.
Yep.
How has it been? Has it been less stressful, better planning on your guys' part through this circuit? Have they made it easier knowing where everything is and knowing you're already going to Worlds?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we're able to say yes, Japan is in August. We've definitely, as a family, had to put together, like, we have a set of clothes that are our Pokemon clothes. Like, that gets washed, and then they get immediately put back in suitcases. So, especially those weeks where we have 4 and 5 tournaments within, 6 weeks. Because if we're not doing the Play Pokemon Championship circuit, we're doing locals. We're traveling, 3 and 4 hours away so the girls can compete in VGC. So it's just been, there's just a lot of extra planning. But at the same time, if you know it's coming up, you can kind of put those safeguards into place so that you're not as crazy when it happens.
Awesome. You've been traveling a lot. You've been at numerous amounts of these tournaments. Out of all of the tournaments we've had this year, which was the favorite in your opinion?
I mean, that's a pretty easy one. It's Salt Lake for sure. But we went to a planetarium. That's how we became known as Team Planetarium. We came down, we played there. I mean, you weren't there, right? It was
No,
Dave.
it's Dave and Tim.
But we still had fun with 3/5 of the fam. We went to Dave & Buster's. We played a lot.
That's great.
It was just fun socializing with them and hanging out with them.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. This has been wonderful. Thank you for the interview. I appreciate you guys running and doing the entire circuit. It's been so fun to watch the Fitz family and the adopted Fitz family in here for this entire Play Pokemon season. You ladies enjoy the rest of the day, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I cannot believe this entire family, that got really hot. I cannot believe this entire family, they just all packed up and gone, and they planned for it, and they haven't even played Pokemon for for 2 years. They're brand new to the game. And their kids have already gone to Worlds twice. They have 2 world finalists, 2 back-to-back world finalists. One of them, Khaleesi Fitzy, won juniors play Pokemon last year. Seniors play Pokemon last year. And this year, her dad, Buckeye Fitzy, has secured his spot into World Championship through, I think he came second in... Nope. It was real early. It wasn't hometown. It was something east. I forget which one it was. One of the early ones. But yeah, so he secured it early. So the family's already booked their tickets for Japan. It's been wonderful. Charlie,
That's so cool.
right? Imagine if imagine if our folks just did that. We were just one whole year dedicated, right? We were talking about meeting people. They met Bird Power through that. And Bird Power's been going around her. I was talking to find out because Bird Power is 16 right now, 17. She's real young. She's one of our future stars of the scene. Real excited of how promising the power is of the bird. But she secured her worlds last year. She secured her worlds this year. So she's going back to back. First one to do that before 23. Oh, no. First NA to do that. I'll say that. I don't know where 23 landed. But she decided they all were just going to be a family together. And as you heard, they've just had such a great time. They met at Salt Lake City. She won that tournament and met this wonderful family in Salt Lake. It was such a great, fun match, tournament the whole time. Just a good experience. So that's how you create those kind of friendships. I just love them. I just love going to these things and hearing these stories about them, and that they gave it to us so early so we can plan ahead. But can you imagine?
Really cool,
Can you imagine if our folks did that?
No. I mean, I think one, that's so cool to get involved in your kids' hobbies and to support them like that. But my gosh, also, what just a talented family.
Right? So talented all together. Speaking of talent and speaking of family and speaking of getting involved, I came in and did a check-in on my nephew at that time, and he had gone 1-2, and he was a little upset, but the mom and dad were real into it, talking about which deck he should be using, stuff like that, even dropping Pokemon names properly, which I can't even do yet. I can't. The new white cat, the Chen Meow, the Chen Mei, this new legendary that the deck card is really good. They were like, would you have done better with that deck? Would you have done better with a Dropion deck? I was like, get out of here. You say Dropion? So, like, it was just really awesome to see that happen during the tournament, during lunchtime, before I got to battle, which was when I found out against Haydonous. I was like, oh, yay. This is yay. Haydonous Rex, a great battler. So yeah, the really cool thing about it that was different this year, Charlie, than the San Diego one, was in San Diego I was Group D, and I really had to. I played, I lost, and then my next round of losing was up, so I lost. Like, my next round was up that quickly, and I like had to battle real quickly, and so it didn't give me enough time to. Like, I was only there. I could have only been there for like 20 minutes of the tournament. But this time, like, everybody's first round went, and then everybody's first round losers went. So not even winners round 2 went yet. Just losers round 1 went. So it got a nice flow going for people. So even if I lost, it was still a good 2 hours, which gave me time to enjoy the event, not feel like I'm going to lose everything so quickly, all that stuff, which was really nice.
Yeah, so, I mean...
And so it just gave me more time for my buck. That's all I was excited about. Because instead of just being knocked out of the tournament in like 20 minutes for my $70 entry, I'm there for 40 minutes, or for 2 hours. And I went, I played Haydonous Rex and I got O2'd. I actually don't remember how that matchup went, but that was a good matchup. I really appreciated him. We were both chatting about it. He's like, not really familiar with the meta, whatnot. He was surprised to see a lot of Venusaur. DV Sheriff took him out. So my boy took him out, got me my revenge. But I'm sure he wasn't doing it for me. I'll just say, what's up?
Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, I'm curious because I'm trying to. You said that with Lantern, that was really high up on the meta, and you didn't see any, but you saw a ton of Venusaurs. Were there any other surprise, appearances that?
Charlie, we had a Togetic. So my boy DV Sheriff brought Togetic, and this kid from day 2, we'll talk about it, brought Togedemaru. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And then you're like, this is crazy. But you're like, Steel Electric, okay. But you're worried about the Medicham. You're worried about the Steelix, because Steelix still has that Focus Blast power. Charlie, you are worried about Diddly. I actually read the numbers. I was like, oh my god, he broke it. He figured it out. This Pokemon was so smart to bring. And yeah, if you weren't up against someone who knew how to battle against Togedemaru, then you could get away with murder. And I love that playstyle because, like, that's just his spice bringing. Like, and he's got, like, yeah, we know what Togedemaru does, but we don't know the macro of it. And if you're going to dedicate your lineup to playing one Pokemon, and you're going to get yourself to top 8 because you know how to play it, I'm not mad at you. I'm round of applauding you. You came in with the plan, you found it, and you executed perfectly. And you did it right with a Spice Pokemon. No one saw Togedemaru coming. No, I couldn't tell you how many times, like, one shot's a Medicham. Like, you're like, no, get out of here. Medicham, by the way, is like, on everybody's team, the thickest Pokemon, does so much damage. The Spice Amanda was so good. That's why I'm not so mad at myself for how I did and how I performed. Because I know, like, yes, I'm against elite battlers, but I know that they had the same crutch as me. So I could have taken that. So this was just on me. But when you see people bring in Togetic, Togedemaru, Dunsparce, yo, my boy Sassafras was bringing Lurantis. Woo! It was just like, yeah, I want everybody else to win. Go for it.
That's great. And then then you could just relax and watch and
Crazy matchup.
new waves.
Yeah.
Enjoying them. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to enjoy. I get to not be punished by someone not shielding the leaf blade on the Rantis with their Swampert. And then you're like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it was a really fun day one. Even though I ended 0-2, I respect for Haydonous, respect for NHoff, because they're just great, just that kind of top tier battler that I was just unfortunate to match up with. Because here I am, right? I'm telling you about all these spice Pokemon that people are playing. I didn't get to play that, but that's just my unfortunate luck because, I'm number 100 in the top 100. Like, I'm number 99. You can call me Gretzky. I'm 99. I'm not the great one. I'm one away. But, like, I'm still, like, a top-tier battler. But that's just my luck that they matched me up with top-tier battlers. Like, I could have easily been up against my boy Sassafras, and I could have taken that with Venusaur. I knew at least that much. I know, like, if you get the experience again, you have the practice with your lineup, you know what it can do. I wasn't afraid of what my lineup can do. I knew I can take it. I had NHoff dead to rights. I had the call. I knew I had the call. But I tried to make something happen, and that was not the play. If I would have stayed in with 2 shields, I could have made something happen a little better down the line. But I know that she might think that I might do that and be safe play because I know who my opponent is, and that's the micro I'm talking about. But that's just one battler, and out of the 66 battlers, I was just unfortunate to get the 2 battlers. There was only, just so you guys are aware, so that the numbers are clear, because we did the numbers. Only 10 battlers were recurring. No, 6 battlers were recurring top 8 battlers. That's it, and 2 of them are world qualifiers, already world qualifiers. Because we were doing the numbers going like, all you have to do is get to day 2 with those people, if that's going to be the case. But NHoff got knocked out. She just went 0-2 right after me. She might say she had a bye and then got 0-2 by 2 great battlers, which I wouldn't take offense to. Haydonous lost to DV Sheriff, who I've beaten other tournaments. So it's not like I don't feel like I couldn't take on Haydonous. But he could have easily made the top 8, and you could have easily, like, the top 7 could have gotten the invite to Worlds. But it's just anybody's tournament, and that's what I love about them. And, like, the spice there. I wish I would have come across spice. That's all I gotta say. Like, I wish I would have come across that Togedemaru, because I'd have died laughing. I would have laughed so hard. Because it's just fun. It's just fun when you get to see new Pokemon, especially when a meta shifts like this time too. So yeah, day 1 of battling is done, but day 1 after party, head over to somebody's Airbnb with a bunch of battlers, and Charlie, like, when I tell you, these people are sociopaths like me, like, we're already, I walk in the door and there's a whiteboard being passed around with everybody's name on it so that we can enter for a tournament, for an Ultra League tournament. They're already in another tournament. The tournament was done. Day 1 is over. I think a few of them made to day 2. Oh no, Munchlax and DV Munchlax was there. DV wasn't. But yeah, like, that was it. Like, I was so dying laughing, Charlie, because these people, all they do is battle. All they ever do. It's Portland all over again. Remember what I told you? I was in that house, just a battling house. Like, all these people do is battle. All they want to do is battle each other. All they do, all the time, 24/7. When they get together, they're battling. It's insane.
So it's what how do you keep up as not being a 20-year-old?
Well, you just have to hope it's a tournament that you could read it well and just play nicely and understand that you're not a 20-year-old. No, because there's older gentlemen that are in there. I know Buckeye Fitzy's older than me by a He's not older than me. He's a young, spry old buck, that Fitzy. No, Buckeye Fitzy is an old timer. I know there's a lot of guys that are old timers and young players too. But like, I mean, some of us have children and everything like that. That's why Sylph, these restricted metas, these in-persons, those smaller communities were there and are grateful that they were there to keep people around. That's why it's really great to get with Flash, because Flash is doing those that keep people around. But the Discord, your local in-person, your locals. That's why I tell you to go to your local, Charlie, so that you could, if you want to meet battlers and get experience there, there's some good ones. I know very much good ones in Portland. My actual coach, Ryblet, who I've been sparring with all of season one, this season of Sylph, who reached out to me and wanted to just battle me, and I was like, okay, cool, because they got some spice. I met through Flash for everyone. He was helping me build a team. He's out there in Portland, in your area. So, if you ever want a good battler there. But yeah, I mean, all these people do is battle. All we do is battle. That's it. All they want to do is battle. All they're ever doing is battle. They're trying to figure out the metas. They're trying to make sure that their Pokemon are good against whoever. If the other person's got a new style of playing against it or whatever. And just so we're all clear, they're not playing like the meta. They're playing auto rec. They're playing like an Ultra League where like no one's really great at right now. Like, this is where they play at. This is what they do. It's so much fun. So like, they try to even the playing field so like everybody's there. In Portland, they did a single style monotype meta. I was like, get out of here. But I learned real quickly what Meganium could do. And that's how you learn about Pokemon and what they could do by doing these things. Oh, North Star. Yeah, I'm 32. Oh, no, wait, I forgot. I was 32. I'm 30. Yeah, I think I'm 30 than him too. No, 20. I'm 20 than him. This kid hot pocketed Charlie, one of the bright futures as well. Like, I talk about bird power, like the future's real young. The future's real bright. The future's real bright because the youngsters are really good. The youngsters are really good. You had a couple of youngsters. One of the youngsters out here was from Phoenix, that Rainfall gentleman who we all saw. Loved him. One of my new favorite emotes to watch now. He got to finals the final day, or he got to the finals of losers bracket and lost to C2U because of IVs. So because he had a different IV, because C2U's Pokemon's IV was different. Remember that appraisal stuff I showed you, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember how I said, like, that's the ranking of those Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever bulk that the C2U had to keep Noctowl to have, like, one health heavier than the other ones was the reason he won against that and knocked out Rainfall. Like, that's the micro. Like, that's how bad he had to lose. And so I was so excited to see this kid do so well in day one. So the future's so bright here for us in the battling world.
Was 2019 when it first came out, was so popular.
2016.
Oh my, 2016.
7
oh my
years
gosh.
ago.
Oh my gosh. It was so popular, and I feel like maybe the past, it was probably due to COVID, but it had fizzled down a little bit just in conversation. So so reassuring that the younger generation is still seeing how much fun the game is, and bring it back to the excitement that the older generations, us playing Pokemon on our Game Boys, felt.
That's so weird when you're like, the older generation, that us, and I'm like, get out of my generation, girl. You don't belong here. We are not in the same generation.
I hate to break. I feel like once you're over 30,
yeah,
everyone just lumps you of like, you're old. Congratulations.
Exactly. Congrats. You got to old. Congratulations,
That's your old
you got
farm.
there.
You're not old enough for senior discounts. I feel like those are the two. You're
Right.
old, and then you're like senior discount old.
Right, they haven't stuck it to us yet, but they're trying to. It was to all of that going down, and all that was so much fun. And just, again, your big ones, just going to the local ones just once a month at least, like, because the friendships there that you make, like, then they'll want to battle you at home. You get to do more remotes with those kind of battlers, because once they meet you, I know you guys are saying like you're remote, but some of us battlers who have been around, like, that's cool, you're remote, but I don't know who you are, and I kind of still don't trust you to just Discord battle you yet. We're like, when we're in person and like we're all having laughs and we're making trades and like we're all talking about it, I feel like you have more of a connection with them, and it's like easier to be like, yeah, let's battle some more. Like, oh hey, let's do that. Like, I can't wait to battle Flying Pizza more or Mega Person, because like we had such a great connection this tournament. But yeah, we're gonna get to day 2 competitors here, because these guys did so well. And I have another audio recording next coming up that I want to play. But yeah, here you go. The top 6 here. The other 2 is Gerald and Munchlax 2000. 2 Arizona battlers, 1, 2, 3 East West Coast. 5 West Coasters. So it's Elite C2U's in LA, Boomer, who's in the red shirt. So starting from the person on our left and going down, you've got Caleb Pang on the left. He's from LA. You have Nighttime Clasher. He's from St. Louis. This is the gentleman that got Togedemaru. He even has Togedemaru in his lap. And if you look at it too, Amanda, like, these guys all holding, they like look so serious, and then they're all holding like their little stuffies in their lap. Like, we're Pokemon battlers. Like, only the coolest people can rep that and just look so cool doing it. Cause like right after that, you got Boomer in the red shirt rocking the Munchlax. Then right behind him is the C2U. And then right next to him in the yellow is the Elite. And then after that is DV Sheriff. So yeah, it was a really good stack lineup of LA, West Coast, and Arizona battlers here.
Did watch though the ones that were posted on YouTube. I don't know names of anyone, but I've been trying to have them on in the background and trying to learn what I can about strategy.
Yeah. No, it was probably, I wouldn't say this was a really good top 8 for sure. I wouldn't say the battles were that epic after the first one. It kind of got a little stale, but it wasn't as bad as last season. Like, the staleness didn't get bad at all, which was great. Like, none of the matchups were all locked on. It was never like besides Swampert onto Trevenant or Swampert onto Venusaur like a couple of times. An Elite just eating away at Caleb Pang's hopes and desires of getting the grand finals. It was not that bad of a matchup. Like, the tournament was pretty well tamed. Like, nothing too crazy, but people could still flip it, and it didn't feel like it was gonna be stale. So I'm pretty hyped to see what people bring in for NAIC now that the dust has settled. Because what these battlers all brought were their style of play. If you really noticed, or if you know their battlers, I know who all these battlers, most of these battlers are, and I've played against them. But knowing their play style, they really, on a meta shift, they stuck to their kind of style of how they play. Caleb literally just swapped out Trevenant for Venusaur Shadow. That was it. Nighttime Clasher brought in a really good Pokemon that handles Medicham, Registeel, Noctowl, and is a steel typing, and could have everyone guessing. So great job there. He played to his advantage. Boomer was playing for, actually this is a great story. Boomer was playing for Dapper Discs, and here we go, another Fresno heartfelt story. So Dapper Disc was signed up for Fresno and bought his ticket, and then this 23-year-old had a stroke a couple of weeks ago, like earlier in the month, earlier in June, and so they, did not make it up to the Fresno. They were still alive. They're fine, but because of the medical condition of it, what it is, right? Got to be on hospice for a while, like. So not going to be able to just drive up to Fresno to do a real heavy thinking, pressure on the brain tournament. Boomer's line was actually built by Dapper. And so Boomer was rocking, and it was built just like Boomer would play it too. So they both, worked with it. And so it was a great line. Brought in the Dugong with a drill run that was part of the meta shift. And it showed why drill run was so good, because, oh my goodness, it just hits that Registeel so hard. It was just unfortunate that he couldn't bring it at all, because Caleb is just Caleb Peng and brought that Venusaur. But yeah, Boomer just I made it to winners, got there. Brought a great team matchup. C2U brought a nice meta matchup. Elite brought the Polish Shard matchup, which that Polish line is, it is so sick. I'm in love with it. I'm gonna do a video to break down it and why it's so sick. And then DV Sheriff brought some spice, but he also brought Pokemon that he knew. So people are like, oh, Togetic is crazy, but he's been playing Togetic before. This is not anything new with him. Same thing with Munchlax, and Gerald built had his basically my line, but with Dunsparce. So he brought the Dunsparce line. So he was bringing a tank lineup, a very safe lineup, which is kind of what his playstyle was. It looked like, because even Munch had to make catches in order to beat Gerald, because he had to be transferring around HP. And this is the person who beat me. So. A great line of 8 here. And I think that any battler going into NAIC this next coming up week, it can win it. And that was the reason why I did this spiel for day 2, because these battlers were all great. And I think that the meta is still undefined. And I think if you wanted to, Charlie, you could walk into the meta and, just have fun with it. Oh, the one thing I loved about this tournament too was I was really hyping the AZ v LA matchup, which we've seen numerous amounts of times. LA never shows up. AZ usually beats them. We've seen it on Friday Night Fights. It's unfortunate. It's sad, but it happens. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, that's not the case. And there was, as you see on our right, that is Gerald versus Munchlax and DreFlames. As I was going to interview him, we're going to get to our next interview here with DreFlames. As I was going to interview him, this battle was about to start, or the battle before, that battle had matched up. He was like, yeah, don't tell anybody. We haven't announced it yet, but Gerald is joining SoCal Swablu. I was like, yes! That's amazing, because Gerald is a great player. What an absolute beast from the West Coast. So a great signing by SoCal Swablu. And of course, Caleb Ping's giving him crap about it. But yeah, Dre was just so, Dre loves battling, and he's absolutely going to be hawking people because the West Coast's factions is always growing, and SoCal Swablu needs representation to help regions grow. So that's how you do it. Battlers got to help grow regions too. Can't just be, it's got to be everybody. But I have an interview with DreFlames. Would you like to hear it? Charlie?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Oh. Yes, I said absolutely. I
all right.
definitely want to hear that interview.
All right. So, Yeah, here's DreFlames. Here with the SoCal Swablu captain, DreFlames. DreFlames, you are part of the LA scene, team leader here. You have seen so much going on. The play Pokemon scene has come now to the West Coast. How does it feel to see it last season and now being able to bring out and participate in these with the West Coast scene?
It's great, man. It's good to have more tournaments also here on the West Coast. Obviously, we don't have to travel as much for us locals. So let's say we have like home court advantage. It's nice to have that, and it's nice to be able to bring out more team members, you know, and instead of being spread out at different regionals, we're able to take advantage of these events to really all gather up. I think we have about like 8 of us here. 3 more were supposed to come, but they couldn't make it for personal reasons. So it's just good, man. This time we pulled out with jerseys. It really creates that camaraderie feel, and we're able to share moments in person with these events, and you know, instead of being remote, it really gives us a chance to like bond even more, not just through battles but throughout like the whole experience, I would say.
You've come to 2 play Pokemon events. You've been holding stuff down for this year, but that's not where you guys start. You're way back at the beginning of the grassroots. What does it mean now, after this journey we've been through, to have this, and what is the future for the play Pokemon and for you as a Pokemon Go battler in this community?
I mean, we keep evolving and adapting as the game grows, right? So as the game grows, we grow. So they're kind of like correlated, I would say. So, you know, different formats, different metas, you know, we're here. We have a good group, and regardless of the way things shift, that's what we still shift with it. All right.
The top 8 today. You know some of them. You've battled against many of them. A lot of LA, a lot of AZ people. How do you feel about this top 8?
I think I played all of them besides maybe one. It's a good top 8. Very competitive tournaments. I feel like these Cali tournaments are always pretty stacked. Not a bad place to travel to, I guess. I would say probably if I had to bet my money, it probably would go on Caleb, Gerald, and obviously my teammate Boomer. I think they've been playing really well. Boomer just lost to Caleb, but he's still in it since he was in the winter finals. Yeah, I think probably those 3, they have good chances. But honestly, everybody's capable, and at this level, anybody can take it as long as they have a good day.
Yeah, anybody can take it if they're having a good day. I've said that numerous amounts of times, and that is the metaphor for like the battling. Like, if you feel like you need to be a battler or an elite trainer or anything like that, you don't. You just have to be prepared. Like, come prepared. That's all. And it could be anybody's tournament anytime. He said Caleb, he said Gerald, he said Boomer, and Caleb made it to the grand finals, but Caleb almost lost it. Like, Caleb got 6-0'd in the grand finals. It's nuts. Charlie?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm here. So sorry. Having some technical difficulties, but you can hear me? We're good?
We're good, yeah?
Okay.
So, as day progressed, we had LA versus SoCal and AZ in these matchups. And I was really happy to see Munchlax and DV Sheriff go really far. That was a fun car ride, because DV Sheriff and Munchlax are roommates. And let me tell you something. Both of them weren't fighting to win the tournament. Both of them were fighting to win the bragging right. Like, the I got further than you. It's already bad enough that DV Sheriff got to a top 8 on his second try, and it took Munchlax at least 3. So he's like 50% his win rate, so he definitely rubs that. But then to like go to losers final or losers semis, further than Munch, and not be able to just get one more ahead of Munchlax, like, really jams that right into Munch. But those guys are like have like the best relationship. Like, it didn't hinder anything. They just had the best jokes the whole time.
It must be cool to have a roommate who plays like you do. I'm sure they must be really cool to have that type of resource there.
Yeah, they literally do. They've been battling friends since like season 1 of Sylph. They like know each other's plays and moves like by heart. They're both elite battlers. Like I've never thought of them as not elite. Like DV Sheriff, I might have beat DV Sheriff like and knocked him out of San Diego, but it was just my tournament because DV Sheriff is an elite battler who brought Togetic and Venusaur and played it really well. Like, he's the guy who sludge bombed DreFlames' Registeel and got DreFlames to throw the damn matchup by throwing up the shield. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. It was so amazing. I don't even think, neither of them believed it. You gotta watch the clip. It was so good. But, yeah, the two battlers got really far. It's great to see them go far. It's great to see them get into the top 8. Like I was saying, the whole theme of this is that it doesn't matter. Anybody can play. Don't need to worry about being the best as long as you know what you can participate as long as you're prepared. So, I got one more video before we go to our special video of Miss DeFi because I definitely have a wonderful video with Miss DeFi post day 2, or post after day 2. So I would love to play that, but I'm gonna go to Haydonous now. I got to interview him because I was like, he's a top 8 battler. He's been traveling around like the Fitz family, so. It's great to hear his perspective as a battler. We've heard from DreFlames. Again, the SoCal Swablu. Look at that jersey on the left. How sick is that jersey?
Jersey on
that black and white one. Oh, hold up. He got his Swablus. He got his boys black and white jerseys. They were so clean, and everybody got one. Oh my goodness. It was so cool to see, Charlie. Like, everybody holding up the jersey. It felt like so great for them to like get it. Flying Pizza. So, fun story about Flying Pizza. He joined the battling scene in January, and he joined Sylph in January and came to the one of the tournaments that Creaser and I held. And he was already, after one remote tournament, already ranked 5 in the world or something. So obviously, I'm like licking my lips. There's a Phoenix battler that's ranked 1 or 5 in the world. I need to battle this person. So I drive up. I meet him in Phoenix. We battle in Ember Cup. Everybody battles in Ember Cup. I don't actually battle him in the tournament, but I get to battle him outside of the tournament because I was like, hey, I really wanted to battle you because I just wanted to see his play style. I just wanted to see what kind of battler he was. Like, is he aggressive? Is he tank? Like, how does he play? In Ember Cup, you could really tell about battlers' play style by the way they played the Pokemon. And I was really blown away. He did really great. I beat him. I've done nothing but beat him. But he did really great. He's an aggressive fighter. He goes for the charge moves and throws them. He knows how to go for shields. He played the Swablu game. He was 100% Swablu game. So after I battled him, I literally am texting DreFlames. I'm like, I asked him, like, you're really good. He goes, yeah. I was like, how long you been in Sylph? How long you been battling? Just trying to get an understanding of who he is. And he's like, oh, I just joined. I'm trying to find a factions team right now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? Have you heard of Swablu? And he's like, no, who's that? I was like, and I told him who Swablu was. I was like, reach out to them, yada, yada, yada. As I finished telling them, I turned my back to him. I whipped my phone out, and I'm like, Dre, this kid Flying Pizza, get him on Swablu immediately. He is like 100% their playing style. And Dre was like, okay, whoa. I can read people and read battlers and understand. Like, I called Speedish Chief. I called Steve. I called, like, all these people, like, Tuski. Like, I've been calling people playstyle. his factions matchup, like only lost one matchup or one round his entire run or something. Like he had such a great run for them. I was like, yeah, attaboy. There you go. He was sad. He's like, oh, I got a loss. I got 1 point back. I was like, dude, you got 1 point. Like, imagine being swept now. He's like, oh, that'd be bad. I was like, yeah. Like, you got your team that point. That's the winning point. So he was such a great addition for them. I'm so happy that it worked out for everybody. And if you see right here on the left, all of them in their jerseys, it just ended up working out for them. Like, he fit in their chemistry so well. I was so happy that, you know, he was able to get it to work and that these guys did it, because he was so much good for young battlers that coming into the scene. That's all I gotta say, because he's brand new.
Yeah, with those
this is a brand new battler. He's never done battling before. He had no idea about Sylph or anything until January.
Wow.
Yeah, the kid on in the picture on the picture on the right is all 6 of the Arizona battlers, and on the left is the kid in the jersey. It's his first year battling. And then on the right, the kid who made it to finals, Charlie, the kid who made it to finals, my favorite, Rainfall. He's been battling since like June or October of last year. So they're basically saying anybody can walk up and get to a finals. It is not that hard. Like, it is not as scary as people think. So I think
it shows you what practice commitment do.
Yeah, if you just practice, right? Give 10 minutes of practice or something, or just reading PV Poke or understand building your Pokemon, right? That's the one that's gonna get you. Like, if anything, real quickly, that's the one that's gonna get you. It's gonna be the building of the Pokemon, because the resources won't be there as they were for us when we were hunting them. So like right now, there are Pokemon that you should be hunting, and you need to be following as a battler. I would say be following every event, because there are battling Pokemon that you could be out getting in the wild right now that could be PvP ready when the meta comes. So right now, for example, Drifblim is a great Pokemon. The little balloon, the ghost balloon.
Oh, yes.
Right? For this Solace event, that little ghost balloon, that is a great Pokemon for restricted ghost metas. Like, it has wonderful movesets. So, yes, the meta might not be out right now, but it will be out later. So you should be still hunting right now for a Drifblim, because they don't come around that often. They will come around during Halloween. So those are small things that battlers do now. So if you're going to call yourself a battler, you should be saving every Pokemon that is PvP ready so that you can evolve it when the meta comes. Because all it takes is one meta shift, and look at that. Alolan Sandslash wins 2 metas with Fresno and Milwaukee. It is going to be everywhere. I repeat that. It is going to be everywhere. It won 2 regionals. Charlie.
Sorry, repeat it. Which Pokemon?
The Shadow Alolan Sandslash. This Pokemon was so bad because Medicham is in the meta, but they gave it a moveset. They even gave it a community day last year, and it still isn't in the meta. Like, they gave it Drill Run, which basically says it can handle now Registeel. Like, it could do some damage to steel types. And with that extra Shadow boost damage, Charlie, it's game over. Like, it's literally, you got to play with it. And, like,
It's good to know. Yeah, I will. It was like you were saying earlier that you've been spending the past year beefing up your XLs because your Bulbasaur and your
my Lickitung.
I'm blanking on Lickitung.
Yeah, because they need me. Yeah. So like this is a good event to be catching Pokemon, because a lot of the Pokemon are going to be valuable or are just missing that one move. But if you are going to be on the hunt Alolan Sandslash, be sure to be on the lookout. That Team Rocket event is coming out. in a couple of weeks. So there's going to be a lot of Team Rocket stops. You should plan to go to parks and hunt Team Rockets and try to find yourself in a lowland sand slash.
You had another interview for us?
Yeah, we're going to get into now my interview with Haydonous, the second battler that I battled, because he's been around in numerous amounts of circuits right now. So I wanted to hear his ideas with what's going on in the top 8 that we have today. So let's hear what from Haydonous. Such a great guy. All right, we are here with Haydonous, the top 8 battler from Portland and Fort Wayne. So I'm so excited to have you here. This season is over, the first real season of us to like find and hunt and go and do these things and do our regionals. How do you feel after the entire first season of Play Pokemon?
I feel pretty good about it. The only thing I would say, I mean, like, it's great meeting all these new people, hanging out with everyone on the weekends. I really enjoy that, but I would like to see a little bit more of a meta shift, because even though the meta shifted from like right now or like even a little bit earlier in the season with the wing attack buff, it would be nice to see some like sleeper picks get like access to more diverse moves, or even like flyers having a fighting chance to get steel. Like if they give Altaria Earthquake, that would be really scary for the meta. Obviously, like I feel like that would shake things up a lot, you know. Just seeing impactful changes and not like little changes that change around like 1 or 2 Pokemon, but like more impactful changes for the season as a whole. So next season, I would say I'd like to see more of that, but this season, it is what it is, I guess.
You've gone to a few of these. Have you enjoyed the experiences as a battler, or do you enjoy it more as a spectator?
I really enjoy it as a battler, honestly. In San Diego, and San Diego was great, hanging out with friends. You know, I got 0-2 in San Diego, knocked out for my first match, then I was kind of beaten up about it, so I just kind of threw my next matchup. And it was cool spectating, chatting with friends. Didn't really have to worry about battles, but it's a whole nother experience. Like in Fort Wayne when I was playing the whole day, or Portland when I was playing the whole day, you know, and then on to day 2. It's a really amazing experience, especially day 2 when like all your battles are streamed. It's cool getting to rewatch yourself play up there. It's cool like how everyone's kind of like watching you, you know, like it's pretty cool as a battler, and I really enjoy battling, but I'd say it really is a balance between all the friends and spectating. I'm quite a fan of both.
Awesome. Okay, that was perfect. Any suggestions or ideas for next season?
Next season, I would like to see Swiss format instead of double elim, because you could get unlucky 2 times, like RPS, just in 2 matches, and then it's kind of out for you, you know. I really like to see a Swiss matchup where it's a little bit more fluid, maybe rounds of 8, 10. More phones, a little bit more tables. I know they have an extra space at some of these regionals, so I would really like to see that. Maybe the point system, I heard that they're probably going to bring that in next season. I don't think that's necessarily a bad change. So then, like, these people are constantly making top 8, like with Dodge, like made top 8 like 4 or 5 times, right? And then he didn't get the invite because he was like getting like 5th place, 4th place, you know? So just get top 8, perform really well, and then rack up those points and then qualify. I feel like that would be a really good change. And then, like I said earlier, the meta shakeup, I feel like that would be very beneficial and would help the scene flourish a little bit, so it's not just the same thing, repetitive. And one thing more I would like to see, this is probably a bigger ask, but I would like to see the switch timer reduced. Maybe like 45 seconds, 40 seconds. I'm more on the 40-second side. I feel like matches would become a little bit more fluid. It's not like you're locked into a bad matchup for a whole minute, you know? And I think that in its own could be an own meta shakeup, right? Like when there was a 30-second switch timer for a week, we saw Deoxys, we saw Swampert. Those things were racking up because they were low energy cost moves. They could just bank them, right? So I would like to see that.
Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, he wants to lower the switch clock. Are you kidding me? You know what that do? We had crazy matchups. It made the matchups definitely more fun, for sure. Or more fun. Funner, for sure. Like, interesting. You were able to make catches faster. You had to pay attention to things faster. But then again, like I did, you can try to make a catch and then end up switch locking yourself faster and annihilating your Pokemon faster. So
Do you agree that it would be a good way to switch up the meta, or
No, not
fair
necessarily.
enough?
I actually, at 40 seconds, possibly. And the reason I say that is that could take out the tank. So right now, what we're seeing is a lot of these battlers are winning because Medicham and Sableye can get to ridiculous health and hit really hard because they get to that XL. So if you take out, because they can get, so where most Pokemon cap off on level, like level 25 or something like that, these guys have to get to level 50, which means their attack is like boosting up more. Their damage is doing more in the matchup. That's why they're top tier. That's why people like them. They can soak up more because the defense has gone higher than most Pokemon. So, if we did maybe a 40-45 change up, if that could affect the tankiness, that could change up. That'll allow other Pokemon to come out, maybe play better, maybe even allow other tanks to play because, they might still be tanky, but they can get to better charge moves like Bastiodon and Registeel would be out because you could make catches on that Focus Blast onto your whatever flying Pokemon. Just be like, oh, did you feel something? Right? And like that would be it. So it could be a good strategy to take out the tank. But right now, Caleb Pang was rocking double steel. And everybody's got it's like the 4 Pokemon that are the RPS right now is Lantern, Medicham, Registeel, and Sableye, and all of them have ridiculous defense. So they just out-tank everything. But as we saw in the final matchup, it was a wonderful matchup between Elite and Caleb Pang, because Elite knows it's a tanky meta. Caleb Pang's got some tank Pokemon. So Elite always brought in his drill running Dunsparce. And boy howdy, did he have Caleb on the ropes. Like, on the ropes, Charlie. When I say I've never seen a battler more confused. Like, Caleb Pang, you'd look at Caleb Pang and be like, what are you talking about? He looked very composed. He was running every number through his head trying to guess what Elite was doing. That's how, like, Elite was just playing. And Caleb was really, like, the pressure was, not the pressure. The Pokemon were there. He saw the sheet. He saw that Dunsparce. The Swampert, though, was the biggest pressure for him. And he thought that his Venusaur was going to bench that Swampert a lot, and it didn't. And, oh, man, Elite just was like, no, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I was like, good for you, Elite. And then when the worst part, when Caleb finally brought his Venusaur, the Noctowl came out. I was like, oh, Elite, how are you making... He was on another level. Like, he was just calling Caleb after game 2, calling the leads, making the plays. Like, it was so... It was like, you could understand why Caleb was questioning, because usually people don't make those calls on him. That's why he's so good, because he knows that down to the wire, he can do that call, this intricate play that he can build his energy. His Pokemon can live without giving up that shield. He knows what he's doing. Like, never think that Caleb Pang does not know what he's doing. If you're sitting there going, why are you not shielding? Why are you letting that Pokemon go? He's got a strat. Like, just like NHoff, he's got a strat. He's played with these Pokemon. This was his team in San Diego. So he's obviously just played with this team. So like I say, just find a team and play with it. That's all you got to do. I literally built a new team. The last week. Literally on Saturday. I was like, whoop, there we go. Just like chopped hands, and I was like, got a new team. But like having that tank there, Caleb was trying to figure it out, and Elite just kept making the call though. Like, just didn't bring in the Dunsparce, brought in the Noctowl. Brought in the Metacham, made the catch. Like, even Caleb was like, the Sableye onto the Registeel. People in the chat might think that might not be a play, but let me tell you, after playing the Hoenn Cup, I would do Sableye onto Registeel 24/7. Like, I'm still getting that Registeel off the table and winning the switch, even though I've lost the shield. That hard-hitting steel is off the table. You know I'm opening up then with a Noctowl in my back. Like, get out. Like, it is such a great matchup, and Elite was calling it. So he did it. He knew exactly what his opponent was doing. Not that he knew Caleb, but like, it was just one of those rewatch, please. Like, just, I'll put the link down below, and this goes in a video. The links for day 1 and 2, you'll have to watch, because the matchup between those two are just something that you've got to know within the meta. And there was only 2 weeks to really learn the meta. You know what I'm saying? So these guys
I'm thinking, like, time-wise, such an interesting time to switch up the meta.
Right.
Is that...
Well, I mean, that was when the season did it. And trust me, they did this to us in Fresno too. But fortunate for us, like, we all saw Milwaukee, and I'm not gonna kid you. I kid you not. There was like 9 Altarias in the top 8. Yeah, I know you can only have at least 8 Pokemon, but there's so many Altarias. I literally thought we were back into the Altaria meta, and I was like, thank God. I was like, oh, I could bring my Altaria back, because I love Dragon Breath so much. It is so good, but Altaria meta is not back. So don't do that. Noctowl was real dominant in this matchup. But going back to what I was saying with Caleb and them, like, we had like 1 week. Milwaukee had no weeks. Like, they changed the meta on them on Tuesday. They're like, Tuesday the meta is different. We are going to give core Pokemon or non-core Pokemon core breaking moves, and we're going to take this core move and give it a small tweak, which is going to weaken. I'm not going to say it's out. I think you could still play Trevenant, just like you could play Walrein, and C2U brought in Walrein. So, not like Trevenant is not valuable. Like, if not, and especially if Noctowls are out. But the Noctowls were back in LA, so it's really hard to figure out whether or not Trevenant is coming back or not, or if Noctowl or Altaria is going to be the main flyer right now. That's how it's just so... Like, that's what I was saying. Like, you could have gone in... Like, Charlie, you literally could have gone in with a team that was dumb meta and still would have won. And would have gone really well, because you would have just played... As long as you had played it out, you would have known how the matchups would have gone. You'd have read the catches. You would have made the throws. You would have done everything right, even if you were in a disadvantage. But everybody was so on top of everything that there was so much spice that because we're all spicing each other out. That's why the meta was Caleb Pang at the top in Elite, because they knew what they had to do. They knew they had to make intricate catches. They knew they had to make the right calls. This is not the first time that Elite has played against a Caleb Pang line. He knew he was going to see Caleb in this matchup. So, like, these battlers were prepared. And it was such a great matchup, even though it was a 6-0, never been done before from an NA performance from losers bracket, because he came from the losers bracket up and won grand finals. Elite just played so well in that grand finals, and I'm out of breath, so I need to take water. Like, yeah, watch that, Charlie.
Sorry.
You gotta watch that.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
All right. So then after the tournament, Elite goes home. We all give them shake hands. After every matchup, I run up to my boys, whether they win or lose, shake their hands, let them know they did great, because they played tough matches. Munch just called the bad back line. DV played against Elite. Like, you can't... This was Elite's tournament. No one was taking that from him. We all watched these matchups. This was Elite's tournament. So, Congratulations to Elite O for winning it. Making the top. Let's see. Did I grab that picture? I should have that picture. How do I not have that photo? Oh boy. Yeah, I have a photo of him giving us the number 1, but congratulations to him. He did so great. Really, really excited to see him, and he brought that line, that polished line. So the meta shift really did shift in his favor because he knew his Pokemon, but it wasn't like he still had to play his heart out in order to win it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we all went to this pool party where at the pool party, everybody was trading or battling and eating and trading and battling and eating. We literally just finished day 2 and everybody is battling. Like, seriously, it just never ends. It never ends. And then I got to see my homegirls, DreFlames and NHoff, and I was so excited because we have done so many Friday Night Fights in Indigo PvP, and it would have been really cool if Fish on a Heater was there with us and joined, but he could not make it out. And with us, like, that was our first, all 3 of us together, so it was really fun. I was really happy about that. And we chatted and hung out. DreFlames living her best life on the Lapras, and Hoff just making trades. Everybody's making trades at this point. I get my Rayquaza. I repeat, I get my Rayquaza and I cry because I've been banking on this for a while, and it is so good, and it has PvP IVs. Like, I'm just so taken aback right now. I'm so excited to be running this. I'm building a team around it. Like, brace yourself when you see me in some of these battles. Like, I'm just gonna keep going. Like, why Rayquaza is G. So why Rayquaza is so important, Charlie, is because in 2019 they gave us Rayquaza in the resource boxes after you did 7 research tasks. Your research box, your main research task box would give you legendary, and one of them was Rayquaza. And the Rayquaza was ranked at level 15. Well, the level 15s can reroll and drop to under 1500. So you hold on to those because legendaries, sometime like that, you can mirror legendary trades with a brand new friend and get CPs that are under 1500. And that's what we did. And I got a legendary Rayquaza with CP under 1500. So always save every Pokemon for any battling opportunity. Because I also, with this line, I went with 14-0 with Rayquaza in GBL. That's the longest run I've ever had, the undefeated run. I was like, hell yeah. But I got to interview DreFlames because she has, like, as the journey she's had as a caster, she's done so much stuff with us as through Team Rocket Academy when I was on there producing their stuff, and now she's been on Battle Network forever. So she's always, top number girl here. She going to do showdowns and casting worlds, and now getting her name into the play Pokemon scene as the play Pokemon caster for female. Like, she held it down, and she did so good. Like, once they brought Gabby in, so a little history here on the play Pokemon scene. DreFlames and everybody was doing, you could tell they were still not, professionals. They haven't had the experience yet. And so Play Pokemon brought Gabby over to help out the team and give them that kind of calm at the desk. And you could really see the difference and how everybody really learned from Gabby and got the experience and understanding, like, what professionalism looks like on the desk and how to work with everybody and what you should be doing. And she didn't know Go, but she got to learn Go while they got to learn, like, they got to feel comfortable on the desk, because instead of 2 people anxiously bouncing off each other, you had somebody who was seasoned, who understood, like, this is how the desk should be run. Like, yeah, let's get back to this topic here, because the director could talk to Gabby in her ear, and Gabby could do what she needs to do to rear the conversation back. That's how seasoned she was, and she was so good for the team, and I so much appreciate them putting her on the desk with everybody, because it really helped everybody out. And then seriously, Charlie, like, DeFi's just been on a whole other level. She's hit us with so many gems in these last few. And she also, before even all this, she was giving us podcasts with GoCast, PvP Corner with Fish on a Heater. That's how I found out that Fish and DeFi had such a great chemistry. I was like, I need to get these two on the Friday night fights. Like, they're great. They had a great bounce back for each other. So they've been doing that for 4 years too. Like, if you ever need to go listen to some battling PvP Corner on the GoCast for your Spotify right there, DeFi, he kills it with Fish on a Heater. So absolutely. But she did such a great job this year.
It's also just so awesome to hear about women in a predominantly male, not male.
No, you're safe to
usually
say
male
that.
participants. Yeah,
No,
like it's really awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, like, in the esport world, play Pokemon and the Pokemon Go community has one of the most accepting, if you ignore all the trolls on comments, right? Has one of the most accepting and dominant communities, or female communities as well. There are always a top tier female battler that's in these tournaments that goes to top 32, to top 16, top 8. Like, NHoff was the first one this year right off the bat, and then Bird Power secured it after. Like, there are battlers all over. DeFi E has been so good with the shoutcasting, and Gabby and the Pokemon scene. Like, Pokemon has been, I've been watching a lot of Pokemon stuff, and like, Pokemon has been some really good female and male, like, relationships. Like, I don't know how to say, like, it doesn't even phase me. Like, I and a lot of people get like shocked when someone says negative things about a female on it, because no one really thinks that ever. We've all been whooped by a girl. We all know that at any moment it's your matchup, or at any moment it's not your matchup. Like, so real battlers don't put any sort of like sexism or anything to it. So it's like been so great to see the girls at PvP. There's a scene out there, Charlie, that I told you to check out. The girls at PvP has been really great to keep the female community strong and united, which has shown the dominance. And after Toreen and after Toreen, like, it's amazing to see the strong dominant women do so great. And DeFi is one of those top co-founders who helped pave the way and kept fighting for them to like be in the scene and like be in front.
Well, I'm super excited to hear what she has to say then.
She's so great. All right, here comes DeFi at the pool party. We are here with the amazing, wonderfully talented DeFi. I'm so happy to have her here and talk to us about it. Miss DeFi, you have been a pro caster now for a full Play Pokemon season bracket. You got an understanding now. How has this season been compared to last season, and how have you seen it grow?
Yeah, last season it was so great to do Indianapolis, but I was terrified. That was so scary, doing this for the first time, being the first woman to be on the desk for Pokemon Go. But I just feel like I've grown so much. I started the season out in Baltimore at the very start of the season, and I got to wrap the season here in Fresno, California. And just the growth that I've been able to experience personally, as well as look at all the growth from the production in general and all of the casters, how much practice we've been able to get. Because if you think about it, we're all grassroots, every single one of us, except Gabby Snyder. When she was brought on, she was able to share a lot of her wisdom and her experience in casting, and I think we were all able to really build from that. And now we all have a full-length season under our belts, and the production has just been so good. Daniel being added on as a producer, being able to just have these big, grand ideas. He's a visionary. He's got big plans and just the force of will to be able to make them happen. I think everything he's been able to do for production this season has been incredible. It's just added so much to the stream and really to everybody's experience as well, working with like how to best do the bracket and things like that.
Yeah, it's been really great to see the early growth in Baltimore to what it is now, because last season it was just like we got to see battles. Now we have a show. You guys are giving us recaps. There's been wonderful recaps day 2, which is now like you guys just started here. An absolute amazing job you guys have been doing, and it's just been wonderful to watch you guys grow. So thank you. You've been wonderful there. How do you feel now that there's been a lot of hits in the community? You're a strong community leader. You know, we're losing a grassroots here, but we've got a lot of potential maybe popping up. Like, where do you see Play Pokemon's run, and how do you see the future of battling in Pokemon Go?
Well, I'm feeling really hopeful. Melgood got added onto the team as well, and I think the local tournaments have been really exciting for people, for Play Pokemon to get those championship points, to be able to win some travel to NAIC, and being able to do more things like that, I think will be good for the local scene. I'm also really hopeful for what the Zygarde project is going to be able to do. I don't think anything can truly replace Sylph, because it was so instrumental and so vital to the grassroots community, but I think we'll be able to create something new and create something different. So I'm honestly, as hard as it is, I was heartbroken. I remember the exact place I was sitting when I opened my phone and I saw that Sylph was shutting down after this season in August, but that was hard. But I really do feel hopeful with this community and what we'll be able to do, and I think Play Pokemon has done a lot with that, having these regional tournaments and getting people together.
It's perfectly said. The whole Sylph was to bring locals. Now Play Pokemon has activated that in April. It is a giant hit. I've been in a depression for a week. And now we've got Zygarde coming up, and there's a lot of hope for both the next future. You've been seeing so many top 8 battlers throughout all the competitions, right? This is the last top 8. How did you feel about it, representing the season for us as the last top 8?
I think it was great. I think we had a really good mix of people who have just been really consistent. People like Munchlax 2000, who's been doing lots of competitions and been doing really well. We have people like Caleb Pang, who's just kind of a star-studded person who had his second place finish in San Diego and got again here in Fresno, kind of the California king kind of guy, doing well in both of his home state tournaments. And as well, Elite made the most phenomenal run, being the first ever in North America to start day 2 in the losers bracket and finish as champion. Only I think EJB in Europe has been able to do that before. So that was incredible to witness as well. And a back-to-back winning 6 battles in a row versus Caleb Pang, that's wild. So it was good. I think it was a great top 8. I loved that every battler seemed to have just one little spicy pick. Like, you got a Dugong, you got a Togedemaru over here, you got the Basti, you got Dunsparce, just a lot of the Togetic. Like, there's just so many really fun things. I thought it was a great top 8 to end the season.
It absolutely was. Yeah, this was actually the first time we saw all 8 battlers have one real spice Pokemon. Mm-hmm. I love that. Well, great looking out. Thank you so much for casting, and congratulations on such an amazing season. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us for season 3, and you being on the desk in all your amazing sparkliness.
Thank you so much, Sosa. Thanks for having me.
That was Miss DeFi, and
wow.
She is a champ. She's been so great for the community. Just an amazing person. And this is all the barbecue we're having. We're all hanging out, just making trades and battling. And she came out, hung out with everybody, chatted with everybody. Like I said, everybody's really cool. Just respect the tournament. That's all you gotta do.
Well, that was a great interview. Great questions. She was so charismatic. I would like to talk to her for an hour. She sounds great. Great person to have in the community.
Yeah, she is nothing but love for the community. So I'm so happy that she's a leader and she's doing what she does. And they got her to represent as the female representation, because she, like she said, first female out there, and she killing it. She is killing it.
Some awesome person to be the first woman to, to be in that role and be in this position. I just, what a great role model, I'll say.
Yeah, and she got to see everything from all the season and talk about it. And as we're gonna wrap up here and finish up about talk about this last season, it was really fun to be a part of. Finally, have the West Coast involved this season and get the information before, so we can all plan for it. I hope they open up more for EU and Latinum and APAC, and that we get to see them. I really appreciate Neuralcar for producing Go Fest, Go Stuff EU in the Pokemon production. There is a EU production broadcast producer role open that I've applied for, but I would feel like Neuralcar would be the one who gets it. So I think if they're waiting for somebody else to apply and then be like, aha, and then have them be like, no, we just needed 5 people to apply to say we gave it to this guy.
Hey, I'm all for putting positive energy out there. I'm trying it out. I'm putting positive energy out for everyone.
I got dreams for EU. I have dreams for EU. Are you kidding me? EU, like, no offense to NA. Like, NA's pretty boring. Like, y'all can't bring spice. Like, this is why I love SoCal. SoCal would be the only group, or like the West Coast could be the only coast that could handle EU. Like, NA won't be able to handle EU. NA's got the talent and the skill and the meta, but EU's got that flair, got that spice, right? So the only way that I see NA beating EU is if the spice goes in against the EU favor, or there's like a macro catch or something like that. But the way the meta is right now, Victini's really popular, so I expect Coxiac to bring Victini. I don't think anybody's thought of Coxiac. He won Denmark back in like September. Like, I don't think anybody remembers this kid, and I think this kid is gonna wipe everybody's mothers with Victini. Also, you've got battlers like Ventusky, who's just whooped everybody except like Speediest, Chief, and Rise, but those were in grand finals, and that's because there were special metas and stuff like that. But I'm not saying they're bad battlers. I'm saying it's just one of those, it was their tournament. The meta just played, and they were able to outplay that meta. Not saying anything bad about a battler. I'm just saying Ventusky could still, will still take a world championship. Made it to grand finals, not like the winners dancing Rob and Emmy Weedle, and they're both from London. Like, that's how in depth I believe in the EU.
Thoughts out there for everyone, all the players, you, for the game itself. I'm just positive energy. I'm so excited, especially after having those interviews. Really excited to see where the game is going.
Yeah, it's the battling scene took a hit, but it's not a bad hit. It's just a hit. It's a bad hit, but we've taken this bad of a hit before. Like, that COVID was a bad hit, because battling's supposed to be in person. Like, the whole point of Pokemon Go is to be in person, like, build community in person. That's why, like, some of these people, when they say these things, I'm like, do you realize what the game's about? Like, it's about going outside. Like, you have to go outside. Yeah. Like, it's begging you to go outside. So
yeah,
I understand people can't. I get that. I understand there are restrictions, but
I'm not saying that.
They lay out events and stuff like that and give timings.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, yeah, it's a really unique challenge, I think, compared to any other esport or any other video game, which is usually played from the couch, the comfort game, and it's as hard as it is to say, well, I'm, me personally, I'm stuck at home. I want to play as much as I can, but not every game is tailored to everyone's perfect situation, and so we had to be creative and find out ways to, like we were saying, go into the community days and trying our hardest to figure out best ways to really enjoy the game how it was designed to be enjoyed.
Yeah, and it's that's what the game is. That's what they're asking the game. So I can't be mad when they do things that restrict, that force people to go out. Like, I get it. We've had these restrictions for a couple of years, but there's reason like that. The game is not meant to be doing like that. You're not meant to be able to do 100. Like, really think about that. If you really played Pokemon, do you think they're gonna be 100 Mewtwo's just flying around for you to catch every time? Like, oh, there's Mewtwo. Like, it's no. Like, let's get back to the realistic world. Like, I understand their mindset. They just did that boost to help us so that when we were stuck in the pandemic, we still played their game. That was it. So, the Fresno now seems like we are on the right path. It was a lot smoother. The day didn't feel long at all. The battles were up. The crew was there. The side games were there. It felt really good. And I just want to thank the TOs for running a smooth run tournament. And there's maybe a controversy, but it wasn't too bad. And we got squashed and figured out, and nothing too detrimental. I'm real happy about how it all played out, and just thank everybody for putting on a great show and giving us a lot of wonderful, wonderful tournament run.
Yeah, that's so glad to hear it went so smoothly. This was your nephew's first one, so first competition, so it means a lot that these things go smoothly, because the newer generation, the young kids, are so impressionable, and their parents are too. So it's everyone did such a great job. It's so awesome to hear what a wonderful turnout there was, how much participation. Really, really excited to continue watching these trainers.
Yeah, the NAIC. You gotta pay attention to NAIC in a couple of weeks. We got that popping off, and then Worlds August 11th through the 13th. But there might be other tournaments popping up to help do donations to help these battlers who didn't get their Worlds punch in, help them get a stipend so that they can get to it.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, that's about my Fresno wrap up.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It was so much fun. And I, as a new player, gives me so much to look forward to, and I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so excited that you got encouraged to do this and you want to join and do this. I hope you don't feel discouraged to join the Play Pokemon, because I think now you're going to have an option this and start building and collecting Pokemon, which will help you, because the season won't start till September, maybe October. So by that point, you'll be on ground base, because I think they're going to implicate points as well, because that's how all the other ones are played, with point system. So like if you win, like Haydonous was saying, there's a few battlers that like make top 8, but they don't make it in because it's just not their matchup, but they make top 8. So it should be more of a point system, because some of those other battlers who've made it in because it was just their tournament didn't make top 8. So it's more of like, these are the battlers who did do the best all the time. So I feel like the point system will be a lot interesting. We'll see how that plays out, especially with the locals that they're going to do. And it was super fun. So
Okay, well, thank you again so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming, and good luck every there. No, you're good, North Star. We appreciate all of your chat. Thank you. Be sure to like the video so that we can get some love out there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want. I'll probably make clips of the interviews and post them through Twitter throughout the week so that you guys can hear them again, because these interviews are really good. The trainers are amazing, and they're great leaders for all of us. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today at Pokebattle Network. I'm SosaFlo, and this was CharliePiper. And You can say goodbye. You can say
Hi,
goodbye.
everyone.
Thank you all for watching and enjoy.